sold-out stadiums. Deafening noise. Hostile environments.
Look at this. This is just spectacular.
Electric atmospheres.
These people are losing their mind. This is beautiful.
Your favorite time of the year is back.
Welcome to the Terror Dome, baby.
Every snap.
Play action fake. Wells facing pressure, airing it out down the left sideline. It is caught. Dwayne Lofton into the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. 54 yards to the house.
Every hit.
Receives the snap, looks to the right under pressure, taken down yet again.
Every touchdown.
With a burst of speed, it's King in the open field. 35-40, 35-30, there he goes. He's gone. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. A monstrous run.
This is college football on 3304 Sports. Now it's time for your pregame coverage. Let's head up to the booth for your 3304 Sports pregame report.
Lane Stadium, one of the many cathedrals in college football. And it's the season opener here in Blacksburg for 2023. Hi, everybody. I'm Giovanni, joined alongside Kyle Marchak with you. Old Dominion is in town to take on Virginia Tech. Kyle, you're looking at two teams that just won 3 games each a year ago. The Monarchs knocked off the Hokies in Norfolk, Virginia to open the 2022 season. Virginia Tech looking for revenge here tonight in Blacksburg.
Yeah, Virginia Tech was in their first season with Brent Pry when they made that trip out to Norfolk to start off the year last season, and they went down and tumbling to what ended up being a disappointing first season for Brent Pry. With that being said, it's about a revival, and both programs have a reason to believe that. I mean, talk about the roster turnover. 58 newcomers for the Monarchs who visit here at Lane Stadium. On the other side, it's 31.4% of the roster are true freshmen for Virginia Tech. Mind you, despite these new looks, a lot of turnover and new faces, a lot of reasons to be happy for ODU. It's part of a series that they've never won on the road apart, and that goes for Virginia Tech too. So a lot of storylines to look at tonight. First, it's Lane Stadium out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This place is absolutely packed. It is buzzing. It is ready for college football once again. Kyle, this is a program in Virginia Tech, kind of one of the sleeping giants of the sport. Brent Pry in his second year as the head coach of the Hokies, looking to bring them back to prominence.
Absolutely. Well, when you have a crowd like this, right, it can make a lot of things happen. But when it comes to reasons to be hopeful if you're a Hokie, you know, only 7 transfers, Gio, but a lot of them can be big impacts, especially in the wide receivers room. How about Montel Fines doing what he's done to develop a better offense? That guy's recruited real hard in the state of Virginia, picking up Quan Felton from Norfolk State, who's right from Portsmouth, and then we talk about defense too. Antoine Powell-Rylands from Portsmouth, he's a Florida transfer. So the defensive coordinators doing their thing too. I mean, a lot of reasons to like this roster better than last year's.
Virginia Tech and Old Dominion. We are moments away from kickoff here in Lane Stadium. The sun has set, the lights are on. Enter Sandman. Certainly did not disappoint, and the roof is ready to blow off this joint. Virginia Tech ended up winning the toss. They elect to receive to start this ball game, looking to start out early and with a bang.
Again, it's about the offense. That's what the clear struggle was for Virginia Tech last year. In terms of the numbers, I mean, there's just a glaring difference. They finished with the second best defense in the ACC and one of the worst offenses in the ACC. I mean, 4th worst overall, 2nd worst passing, 2nd worst rushing offense, but again, a defense that was stellar. So how did they change that up?
Ethan Sanchez, the sophomore out of Portsmouth, Virginia, has it on the tee at the 35. He's ready to kick this football away. 2 Hokies back deep to return. We're underway Under the lights in Lane Stadium. Short kick. It's received at the 10-yard line by Virginia Tech. Malachi Thomas makes a cut across the 25-yard line, taken down at the 26. And Virginia Tech sends Grant Wells out there, named the starter about a week and a half ago here in Blacksburg, played all of last season. The transfer from Marshall gets the nod at quarterback today, Kyle.
Yeah, and we talk about a possible two-quarterback system, but it starts with that main guy. It's nice to have a battle, right, with Kyron Drones coming in and the redshirt sophomore making it a challenge, but Wells is the guy for sure.
Two receivers stacked at the bottom for the Hokies. One receiver at the top, one man at the left hip of Grant Wells. Receiver in motion is Jalen Lane. Wells receives a shotgun snap. He dumps it off. It's a design play that's incomplete. They were looking for a halfback screen to the near sideline. Bayshall Tootin was the intended receiver. The tailback, a transfer new to Virginia Tech, incomplete. Second down and 10 for the Hokies.
Like the look. Get those new faces going.
Two receivers to each side for Virginia Tech. They move left to right on your radio dial from the near hash. Benji Gosnell, the tight end, in motion. Shotgun snap to Wells. He hands it off. Bayshall Tootin breaks the tackle, barrels his way forward across the 30-yard line, is dragged backwards. Forward momentum gives him the 32. And they cut the distance in half. Second down and 4 now for Virginia Tech. Excuse me, 3rd and 4.
Not a bad first touch for Bayshall Tootin. A lot of high praise. You know, Malachi Thomas is supposed to be that guy. Tootin came in, and it's going to be a little bit of a two running back system this year.
Transfer out of North Carolina A&T. Gosnell in motion once again. 5-man front for Old Dominion with just one safety back. Press coverage by the corners. Trips to the left side, one receiver at the bottom. Shotgun snap back to Wells. Pressure coming. He fires it over the middle. It is tipped, and it is incomplete. Intended receiver was Jalen Lane, the transfer out of Middle Tennessee. He dropped it at the 40-yard line. Two men in coverage for Old Dominion. E.J. Green and Sean Asbury, the second in on the stop, and Virginia Tech goes 3 and out, Kyle.
Yeah, tough look. Again, a new look against what is now their first set of competition against someone who isn't wearing a maroon or white jersey. So you got to give them a little bit of a break, but Lane taking a second to try and get that first reception.
Now Peter Moore, the captain for Virginia Tech, will punt this football away in his 3rd season with the Hokies. High snap, he corrals it, spiraling punt at the 30-yard line. It doinks down, takes a Hokie roll inside the 20, trickles all the way down to the 16. What a punt by Peter Moore to reverse field position, and that is where Old Dominion will start their first offensive drive of 2023. Kyle, let's go ahead and talk about the Monarchs. Grant Wilson, starting quarterback, a transfer from Fordham. This is certainly a stage that he is not used to. Just 5 passing attempts last year up in Brooklyn for Fordham. Tonight, he plays in front of 66,000 strong. A sold-out crowd at Lane Stadium, and the noise is brought by the Terror Dome. Shotgun formation, 2 receivers stacked at the bottom, 2 at the top, and a pre-snap penalty. Flags in the air. Offensive false start to start the ball game for the Monarchs. Listen to this crowd, Marchak.
This place is rocking. And you know what? That pre-snap penalty, maybe the Terror Dome has something to do with that.
Same formation, 1 man in the backfield, 2 receivers stacked to each side from their own 10. Here's the snap. It's a handoff up the middle, and the tailback has it ripped out, and he's pulled down at the 11. They end up falling on top of it. Norrell Pollard in the backfield, all over the tailback, Keyshawn Wicks.
You love to see it. The tackle's already soaking up some work in the backfield.
Shotgun snap, barreling forward, chopped down. Just about gaining 2 is Grant Wilson. Huge stop again for the Hokies. Here comes 3rd down.
Yeah, again, that frontline pressure from Virginia Tech is fantastic.
2 receivers to each side. Shotgun formation, Virginia Tech with a 4-man front, 1 safety back, press coverage by the corners. Trying to audible is Grant Wilson, communicating with his offensive line, now back in the gun. Tech showing blitz. Wilson receives the football. Pressure comes from the edges. He escapes, but is taken down. A A sack in the backfield by a gang of Virginia Tech Hokies. First one to get there, Keyshawn Burgess, the sophomore out of Chesterfield, Virginia. Fourth down, and both teams go 3 and out to start. Kyle, very reminiscent of a year ago. Both offenses struggled in 2022.
Yeah, that's what you expect. ODU with the worst offense in the Sun Belt last year.
Back to punt this football away is Ethan Duaney. He receives the snap from his own goal line. He boots it high into the air. Bashaw Tootin comes in, makes a fair catch in enemy territory at the 47-yard line. We have an official timeout here at Lane Stadium. We are scoreless. 12-11 left on the clock in the first quarter. We'll take a short break and be right back here on 3304 Sports.
Media team has you covered. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
This year, 3304 Sports is attacking the 2023 football season with a brand new goal. Our mission is to cover all 12 Virginia Tech football games and an eventual bowl game to close the season. But we need your help. Please consider donating to our GoFundMe page, where your contributions will go towards covering travel costs for our student journalists this football season. From hotels to transportation, every little bit helps. Head to our social media pages and click the link to donate today.
This fall, 3304 Sports has partnered up with Tech Sideline. Established in 1996, Tech Sideline is the premier media outlet covering all things Virginia Tech athletics. Many of our 3304 Sports broadcasters intern with TSL and produce student-led content, such as Triumph Spotlight, TSL Today, social media exclusives, and the Tech Sideline podcast. Tech Sideline, all Hokie, all the time.
3304 Sports has established itself as one of the elite student sports journalism outlets in the industry. Home to All-American broadcasters and award-winning writers, 3304 Sports is the spot for student coverage of Virginia Tech athletics. From live play-by-play broadcasting to beat writing, feature articles, studio shows, and more. Every touchdown, every buzzer beater, every win, we're there. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
You're tuned into college football on 3304 Sports. Let's get back to the action.
A spectacular atmosphere here inside Lane Stadium, one of the many cathedrals in all of college football. Giovanni joined alongside Kyle Marchak with you for 3304 Sports. Kyle, we got ourselves a good one. Scoreless, 12-11 left to go here in the first quarter between ODU and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech ready to start in enemy territory from the 48-yard line. First down and 10. Moving from the left hash, left to right are the Hokies. One receiver in motion. Now there's a receiver to the top and two to the bottom. Here's a handoff. Bashaw Tootin cutting it out to the left side. He's chopped down after a gain of 4. And on the stop, Amari Morrison, the redshirt sophomore out of Virginia Beach. Played at Salem High School out in Virginia Beach across the state in the 7.57. And back to work go the Hokies. Trips at the bottom, 2 receivers at the top. Empty backfield for Grant Wells. 2 safeties. Back Wells takes the snap. It's a wide receiver screen out to Jalen Lane on the far sideline. He dances across the 40 and is shoved out of bounds. It's a first down for Virginia Tech. He got an extra yard on top of it. Driven out of bounds on the defensive side by Terry Jones, the redshirt junior out of Baltimore, Maryland. And Virginia Tech in business, they move the chains.
Love that play call there.
Trips at the top, nobody to the bottom, near hash mark, shotgun snap to Wells. It's an option handoff. He gets it to Tootin, who breaks a handful of tackles in the backfield, but is ripped down a yard before the line of scrimmage. Sean Asbury, the second, on the tackle for loss.
Yeah, Asbury will be big, trying to contain those guys. They throw the nickel at the Hokies offense a little bit tonight.
Second down and 11 from the enemy 37-yard line. We submerged just south of 11 minutes left to go in the first quarter here inside Lane Stadium. Two receivers at the bottom, one at the top for Virginia Tech. Kyron Drones in at quarterback for the Hokies. They talked about a two-quarterback system. We're seeing it here for the first time. Malachi Thomas in the backfield as well at the left hip of Drones. Three-man front for ODU. Shotgun snap to Drones. He gets it out to Thomas in the flat on the right sideline. Thomas down to the 30. Knocked out of bounds, just about 3 yards shy of a line to gain. Knocked out of bounds right at the 30-yard line. And on the stop, E.J. Green for Old Dominion. And it's third down for the Hokies. Malachi Thomas able to lower the shoulder a little bit there. And it looks like we have a penalty that's moving the Hokies forward a little bit. Post-play corruption on the sideline.
How about that look from Kyron Drones? First time getting the snap with this many people in front of him. Had pressure coming and got the shot off.
They call it a late hit on the quarterback. Amari Morrison is the guilty man. Now the ball spotted at the 15-yard line, a 15-yard penalty. And it looks like they're going to review this. If they review this for targeting, Kyle, I'm going to be a little bit surprised, but that's exactly what they're doing here. What are your thoughts?
It's about that new age of quarterback protection, right? I said it. Morrison applied pressure almost instantaneously in synchrony with the throw, which is why I was so impressed with Drones. I mean, again, a guy who's getting his first snap with this many maroon jerseys in front of him. And in the backfield, spinning around, gets the throw off in the flat. It's a tough one. If you look at the replay, it looks like it's above the shoulder pads. It could be a late hit, maybe targeting.
He lowers the crown of his helmet ever so slightly, and it looks like it makes slight contact with the face mask of Kyron Drones.
A wonderful reception by Thomas on the other end, by the way. I mean, that's what makes it a good play.
No matter what way you spin it, that was a massive hit that Drones just took on his first snap here at Virginia Tech.
It's tough, too. I mean, again, this is just a sophomore, just a second-year guy. So he's thinking about what is college football going to look like for me, and that's his first taste of it right there.
Played a little bit at Baylor with the Bears. That is where he started. Did not play very much. Matter of fact, Kyron Drones, last season just 14 for 23 for 219 yards, a touchdown, threw an interception. Rushed it 8 times for 49 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns on the ground a year ago for Baylor. Redshirt sophomore out of Pearland, Texas. And Grant Wells has one more year here with Virginia Tech. Many people saying, hey, Kyron Drones is kind of the next guy in line, right? They didn't get him just for a one-and-done type of deal. He's a guy that can be here for a couple of years. And they give targeting. Wow.
Look at that.
Amari Morrison has just been ejected from this ball game. What a huge loss, starting defensive end for the Monarchs, the Virginia Beach, Virginia native. Boy, that's so tough for him, Kyle. He was injured after the first 3 games of last season, had to miss the rest of 2022, and now just a couple of snaps into 2023, he is sent back to the locker room with a targeting penalty.
Yeah, a guy who had his first real year. He's a redshirt sophomore. Got injured and is supposed to be highly touted at that position, so that's tough that he's ejected that quick, but by the rule book.
Hokies go to work once again, first down and 10 from the Old Dominion. Technically, they're calling it the 14-yard line. Looks more like the 14 3/4, if you ask me from up here in the booth, on level 7 of Lane Stadium. Virginia Tech still in the huddle. Old Dominion saying, let's go, let's play some football here. Grant Wells commanding his offense, and back to football we go. A break of the huddle. And it's a shotgun formation for the Hokies. Power set. One receiver to the bottom, it's Felton. Here's a snap, handoff. Malachi Thomas bursts forward. He's taken down a yard shy of the 10-yard line. We'll call it the 11. Gain of 4 for Virginia Tech. Second down coming up, 2nd and 6.
Ron Crook and Tyler Bowen had been very intentional all year long about getting a better O-line, paving the way for the running game. Thomas with a short run there, but it helps.
Beautiful night for football here in Blacksburg. A receiver to the bottom, 2 to the top. From the near hash, here's a shotgun snap. Handoff, Malachi Thomas plows the pile forward, taken down at the 6. Line to gain is the 4, 2 yards shy of it. It's 3rd and 2.
It's interesting. You have what should be a quote-unquote 2-quarterback system, and then with Tootin joining the roster, it's more of a 2 running back system too. Just a wealth of diversity in the backfield for Virginia Tech, and right now it's working.
Terry Jones and Denzel Lowry team up for the tackle. A shift on the defensive line for ODU. Here's Drones. He takes a shotgun snap, weaves forward. He barrels to the 4-yard line, right at the line to gain, and maybe the 5 here. It's going to be really, really close to that line to gain here for Virginia Tech, and they give him the first down. Gang of Monarchs in on the tackle. It wasn't enough. First down and goal for the Hokies from the enemy 4. Drones staying in the ball game. 2 receivers set to the left side. Malachi Thomas to the right hip. 2 tight ends in motion. Drones still in the shotgun. He receives the football. Play action fake. Drones up the middle, and he's taken down about 3 yards away from the goal line. Chopped down at the 3. Another gang tackle there by the Monarchs. First to get there, Jason Henderson.
Just chipping away. I love that look. You bring Drones in, and this is an athlete. Run the option. Run him out. It's looking good.
Kyron Drones stays in the football game. Power set, 2 receivers to the top. Malachi Thomas at the left hip of Kyron Drones as he gives a look to the sideline to receive the call. Now he audibles. Malachi Thomas shifts to the right hip. Still in a power set. 4-man front, 1 safety back press coverage. Here's a snap. Handoff. Thomas. He plows forward. And did he get in the end zone? Right at the goal line, they'll call him a yard shy. Thomas carries the football. Now 3rd down and goal coming up for the Hokies. 3rd and goal from the 1. 7:46 and counting left to go here in the first quarter. Quick substitutions for the Hokies. Felton down at the bottom. At the top, Stephen Gosnell in a wide receiver in the ball game for Virginia Tech. Bayshall Tootin in there at tailback. Kyron Drones in the shotgun. 5-man front. Here's the snap. It's a quarterback keeper, and he's taken down at the 1. Kyron Drones is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. First man in on the stop, Wayne Matthews III, as well as Nolan Johnson for Old Dominion.
And that begs the question of how aggressive Virginia Tech is willing to be early on, especially this early into a look at their brand new offense. And as I guessed, maybe they're going to be a little passive, but I take that back.
Grant Wells checks back into the game at quarterback. 3 receivers on the far side, nobody to the near side. From the right hash, Bayshall Tootin at the right hip of Grant Wells. 4th down and 2 from the 2. Here's the snap. Wells drops back to pass. Wells pressure, fires over the middle, incomplete. And on 4th down, the Hokies do not convert. Bayshall Tootin was the intended receiver. He was open in the end zone. Wells couldn't find him. And the Hokies turn it over on downs from the enemy 2-yard line. ODU gets the ball back with 6:42 left to go in the first quarter, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, that's the duality of Tootin that they're trying to flash right now, but it takes time to have that connection between your quarterback, or quarterbacks, plural, and, of course, the new running back in Bayshall Tootin, of course, with the dual running back system, too. But that, again, is why Tootin was so effective last year. One of the only running backs last year to have multiple 100-plus yard games, let alone have it consecutively, right? And that's because he can catch the ball, too. Couldn't do it there.
Still scoreless here in Blacksburg. 6:42 left to go in quarter number 1. We'll step aside. We'll be back after this. This is college football on 3304 Sports.
Hey sports fans, be sure to check out 3304 Sports on social media so you don't miss any of our awesome content. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at 3304 Sports. From pre- and post-game stand-ups to links for articles and studio shows, the 3304 Sports social media team has you covered. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
The 2023 Virginia Tech football season is loaded with exciting matchups every weekend on 3304 Sports. Non-conference opponents like Purdue, Rutgers, and Marshall won't disappoint. In ACC play, the Hokies host Pitt, Wake Forest, NC State, and Syracuse, while taking road trips to Florida State, Louisville, Boston College, and Virginia. Week in and week out, we'll have all the play-by-play action right here on 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
3304 Sports has established itself as one of the elite student sports journalism outlets in the industry. Home to All-American broadcasters and award-winning writers, 3304 Sports is the spot for student coverage of Virginia Tech athletics. From live play-by-play broadcasting to beat writing, feature articles, studio shows, and more. Every touchdown, every buzzer beater, every win, we're there. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
Do you love pregame shows like College Game Day, Sunday NFL Countdown, and Big Noon Kickoff? Boy, do we have the show for you. Tune into the 3304 Kickoff Show every Friday afternoon on the 3304 Sports YouTube channel. We talk all things Virginia Tech Hokies football all the time. Feature stories, panelist discussions, opponent analysis, and so much more. The 3304 Sports Kickoff Show, your pregame destination for college football, week in and week out.
Back here at Lane Stadium, backed up against their own goal line. It's first down and 10, 6:42 left to go here in quarter number one. Shotgun formation. This place is loud. And a pre-snap penalty for the Monarchs once again, Kyle.
This was a theme between both of these teams. Both the fact that they began the year a little sloppy, but that penalties were a persistent issue for both squads.
Kyle, we talked about it. It's a false start once again. It backs them up just a yard. Really, really hard when you threw 5 passes last year if you are Grant Wilson for the Monarchs to come in and play in front of 70,000 people. That is the challenge for him tonight. Backed up, first down and 11 from the 1. 2 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom, 1 tailback in the backfield, 4-man front for Virginia Tech. Wilson takes the shotgun snap, play action fake, pressure comes, fires over the middle, and it is dropped. Giovanni Harvey, the intended receiver, over the middle. Mansour Delane in coverage for Virginia Tech, 2nd and 11.
Secondary was a strong suit for Virginia Tech last year, so no surprise that even if Wilson found space, there was no receiver ready.
Harvey was the 2nd leading receiver a year ago for the Monarchs. 2nd to Ollie Jennings, who plays now for Virginia Tech. Shotgun formation, lots of noise, this cauldron of noise here at Lane Stadium. 2 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. Grant Wilson engineering the offense, communicating. Tight end in motion. He receives a shotgun snap. Pressure comes from the right side. He rolls out to the left, dumps it off to his tailback, who's cut down at the 6-yard line. Pushing forward was Obi Sinai. He was cut down by Keonta Jenkins of Virginia Tech. 3rd down and 6. Now backed up still near their own end zone.
Defense sets up offense. And right now, I mean, when you start a drive on the 1-yard line, it's tough to get rolling.
2 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Shotgun formation for Grant Wilson. 1 tailback at his right hip. Virginia Tech communicating, just 1 safety back. Press coverage on the far side, soft coverage on the near side. 1 linebacker in the middle. Now no safeties back. Shotgun snap back to Wilson. And it's a quarterback keeper up the middle. He slides all the way down to the 24-yard line. What a scamper there for Grant Wilson. The option fooled everybody. First down ODU.
Yeah, that's just a wonderful play call by Kevin Decker, the offensive coordinator of the Old Dominion Monarchs.
They move quickly. 2 receivers stacked at the bottom, 1 receiver at the top. In the backfield, it's Keyshawn Wicks at the left hip of Grant Wilson. Between the hashes, moving right to left from the 22. Shotgun snap. It's a quarterback keeper again on a read option, and he slides down just shy of the 30-yard line. Gain of about 5 or 6 here for Grant Wilson, and back-to-back plays where they just kind of chip away here with that option run.
And it's not like they show different receiver sets to set up the secondary. It was the same exact play.
Wilson using his cadence, now surveys to the far sideline to receive the call. 2 receivers stacked with another receiver at the bottom here. Triangle trips with a receiver at the top. 4-man front, Hokies showing blitz. They fall out of it. It's a wide receiver screen to the near sideline. Virginia Tech's all over it. Armarian Granger is ripped down in the backfield. First man in there for Virginia Tech. It looked like It was Kelly Lawson. Derek Canteen in on the stop as well. And Virginia Tech forces a 3rd down and 8. 2 to each side. Shotgun snap, play action fake for Wilson. Airing it out down the left sideline. Incomplete. Overthrew a receiver who was out of bounds by about 15 yards. Isaiah Page was the intended man, but he was out of bounds anyways. Jalen Stroman was the closest to it for Virginia Tech. 4th down and 8 coming up from the 24. Kyle, you think they punt this football away? They will. Looks like they thought about it for a second. They will punt the football back to the Hokies.
Yeah, no chance. I mean, 4th and 2 with a new offense, and the Hokies were still kind of bold with trying to go for it, despite them being just 2 yards from the touchdown, or the end zone, pardon me. But with Old Dominion, I mean, this is an offense that's still trying to find their footing, again, with a massive turnover on the roster, so no chance.
Virginia Tech going to get the football back here. 4:12 left to go in the first quarter. From the 24, it's a box snap up over the head of the punter, Duaney, into the back of the end zone, and it is a safety. 2 points on the board for Virginia Tech. It's 2-0 Hokies. Just an absolute miscue there. The long snapper, Brock Walters, put it over the head of Ethan Duaney, the junior punter, and it's a safety against ODU. Eerily similar, Kyle, to a year ago, a botched snap that cost Virginia Tech the game in the second half.
Looks like the first game of the year, right?
True. Very, very true. A lot of miscues early. You have 3 false starts against Old Dominion, and now that happens. And just something that can't happen if you're Brock Walters, the long snapper for the Monarchs. Virginia Tech gets the ball back anyways. On top of it, though, they have to punt it to the Hokies. 4:07 left to go in the first quarter. It is 2-0. How often do you see the first points of the game 2-0? I bet the odds in Vegas did not have that one.
No, not at all. I mean, only in games like this, right? It's about 2 struggling programs, 2 programs who both had penalty issues last year. I mean, the Hokies, midway through the season, led the conference in penalties. ODU was in a similar category in the Sun Belt last season.
Virginia Tech, 16.5-point favorites coming into tonight against Old Dominion. These 2 teams tied in the series all time. Here's the punt. Back deep to return. It's Bayshall Tootin. It bounces over the 30-yard line. Tootin takes it at the 28. He barrels down the right sideline, taken down at the 44. Bayshall Tootin grabs close to 15 for Virginia Tech. Excellent field position for Grant Wells and company.
Yeah, that's where you want to start. Again, it's about how the offense can set up the defense and vice versa. And when you put pressure on the defense, you get a punt, and then you get lucky and get a safety. Now you start with good field position right near the 50. I mean, the 44 is not bad.
They give him the 45. It's 1st down and 10 for the Hokies from the near hash. It's Grant Wells in the ball game at quarterback. Receiver in motion. Shotgun snap back to Wells. He rolls out to the right sideline. He fires. It is incomplete. Was looking for Daquan Wright, who did catch it, but he caught it out of bounds just about 4 yards in front of Wells. They call it incomplete. 2nd down and 10 from the 45. A play that just really didn't develop there for the Hokies.
Yeah, Wayne Matthews was kind of on a wide-out press coverage to the tight end right, but nothing doing.
Trips at the top, 1 receiver, it's Gosnell at the bottom. Receiver in motion. Grant Wells in the shotgun, Tootin at his right hip. He receives the football. Wells taken off. Quarterback keeper up the middle, across the 50-yard line. Surveys to the right sideline and is barreled down just shy of the 45. In on the stop, Devin Brantley Epps for Old Dominion.
Yeah, it's a big stop, especially for you to be, that big D end and snag a fleet-footed Wells. He was pretty much the last line of defense there.
3rd down and 1 from the Old Dominion 46-yard line. 2 receivers at the top. Nobody to the near side. 2 tight ends set. Tootin in the backfield. It's Grant Wells at quarterback. ODU showing blitz. Receiver in motion is Lofton. Here's a snap handoff. Tootin. He pushes the pile and is ripped down about a yard across the line to gain. Should be a 1st down for Virginia Tech here. It's Chris Trinidad in on the stop. Not enough though. 1st down, Bayshall Tootin and Virginia Tech.
That's what's great. You got a power back in Tootin in some ways and a fleet-footed back in Thomas. Right now that system's working.
Tight end and a pair of receivers to the near side with 2 receivers to the top. Empty backfield for Grant Wells. Facing a 3-man front, now they blitz a linebacker. They go out to the flat. It's Dawan Lofton receives it and is spun down at the 40-yard line. Stop made for ODU by Sean Asbury II and Terry Jones. A gang tackle, gain of 5 for Lofton of the Hokies, 2nd and 5 from the 40.
Gio, it feels like a clear attempt to just chip away on offense. They're not trying to use the receivers out far too much. Instead, just trying to get that running game going.
Have not really seen an attempt at a big explosive play yet. 2 receivers to the top, and now we have a review. For targeting would be the second one today, Kyle, against ODU. We saw Amari Morrison be ejected from this ball game just 3 snaps in, and now they're looking at targeting again. Marchak, what are you seeing?
It's tough to tell. I mean, you had 2 guys who were coming in on that tackle. The first one was Chris Trinidad. It looked like out wide, but it might be Devin Brant Epps too. And now we look at the replay. As a matter of fact, it's actually Taj Rael who came in from the secondary trying to make the hit. Yeah, it's tough. You know, Tootin is ducked down. Rael had his feet, so it was actually the other man coming in, Jason Henderson, who we know can hit hard coming in. That would be massive if Henderson went out of the ballgame.
That would be an astronomical loss. You're talking about a guy that was a second-team All-American a year ago. He was first-team All-Conference. Kyle, he led the nation in tackles with 186. The margin, not even close. The guy in second place for tackles in the country last year had 39 less tackles than Jason Henderson. He is a stud. Linebacker, a junior out of Digmas Ferry, Pennsylvania for ODU. And honestly, Marchak, it looks like targeting, if you ask me. Lowers the shoulder with the crown of the helmet. Looks like helmet-to-helmet contact with Dwayne Lofton. What are your final thoughts here before we get a verdict?
Well, it's unfortunate because Dwayne Lofton's crouched down in that athletic position, being tackled down by his feet, while Henderson simultaneously goes up high. But Henderson's crouched down to the same level, right? So you're asking a large man to crouch all the way down to, let's say, a foot off of the turf.
No targeting. So Henderson will stay in the ball game. That is a massive break for the Monarchs.
Henderson turns to the far end zone and raises his hands in the air. Talk about a guy who wants to play football.
2nd down and 5 for Virginia Tech from the ODU 40-yard line. Receiver to the bottom is Felton. 2 to the top, Gosnell and Lofton. 2 into the backfield. 1 tight end set with Gosnell. Shotgun snap back to Grant Wells, hands it off. Bayshall Tootin, the North Carolina A&T transfer, gets about 2. 3rd down and short coming up for Virginia Tech. Gang of Monarchs in on the stop. Terry Jones was the first one to get there.
I love it. Again, with this new offense, just got to get them rolling with the runs.
3rd down and 3. Wells looking to the near sideline for the play call. Receiver to the bottom, trips at the top, soft coverage by ODU. 2 safeties drop back, 3-man front. Here's a shotgun snap to Wells. Bouncing it out to the left side is Bayshall Tootin on a handoff. Tries to stiff arm a man, and he's ripped out of bounds. About 2 yards short of the line to gain. Very, very nice play by Taj Rael for Old Dominion. The junior out of Charlotte, North Carolina, who had 20 solo tackles a year ago. Had a really, really big solo tackle right there to make it 4th down and 2. The Hokies going to go for it.
I like the look here. Had 4th and 2 last time.
2 receivers to the bottom, 2 to the top. 3-man front for ODU. Malachi Thomas at the left hip of Grant Wells. Shotgun formation. ODU now showing blitz. Wells takes the snap, fires over the middle, caught by Lofton, and he's tripped up at the 22-yard line. Dwayne Lofton converts on 4th down for Virginia Tech, and the Hokies are back in business in enemy territory.
There have been questions about which receiver is going to stand out. Right now it's Lofton.
We have not seen Virginia Tech air out the football much tonight. You see it there. Here's a shotgun snap to Grant Wells, hands it off Malachi Thomas, drills his way forward, taken down at the 20-yard line in a herd of Monarchs. Gain of 2, second down and 8 now from the ODU 20 for the Hokies as the clock continues to tick here, just south of 12 seconds and counting left to go in the first quarter. Will Virginia Tech run one more play? Aiden Green in at receiver at the bottom. Receiver in motion. Here's a snap to Wells. Rolls out to the right side. He fires. It's incomplete. Was looking for Daquan Wright, the tight end. It was broken up. E.J. Green in on the stop for ODU. Jason Henderson helped out as well. And they did try and rush one more play. Didn't work out for him. Third down and 8 coming up from the 20. But for now, it's the conclusion of the first quarter. 2-0 Virginia Tech leads it. A safety on a botched snap by the long snapper Brock Walters as it rolled over the head of the punter and out of the back of the end zone. Ugly football early on here in Blacksburg. We'll be back after this. This is college football on 3304 Sports.
This fall, 3304 Sports has partnered up with Tech Sideline. Established in 1996, Tech Sideline is the premier media outlet covering all things Virginia Tech athletics. Many of our 3304 Sports broadcasters in turn.
23 Virginia Tech football season is loaded with exciting matchups every weekend on 3304 Sports. Non-conference opponents like Purdue, Rutgers, and Marshall won't disappoint. In ACC play, the Hokies host Pitt, Wake Forest, NC State, and Syracuse, while taking road trips to Florida State, Louisville, Boston College, and Virginia. Week in and week out, we'll have all the play-by-play action right here on 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
Do you love pregame shows like College Game Day, Sunday NFL Countdown, and Big Noon Kickoff? Boy, do we have the show for you. Tune into the 3304 Kickoff Show every Friday afternoon on the 3304 Sports YouTube channel. We talk all things Virginia Tech Hokies football all the time. Feature stories, panelist discussions, opponent analysis, and so much more. The 3304 Sports Kickoff Show, your pregame destination for college football, week in and week out.
This year, 3304 Sports is attacking the 2023 football season with a brand new goal. Our mission is to cover all 12 Virginia Tech football games and an eventual bowl game to close the season. But we need your help. Please consider donating to our GoFundMe page, where your contributions will go towards covering travel costs for our student journalists this football season. From hotels to transportation, every little bit helps. Head to our social media pages and click the link to donate today.
You're tuned into college football on 3304 Sports. Let's get back to the action.
Welcome back to Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia, the site of tonight's season opener between the visiting Old Dominion Monarchs and the Virginia Tech Hokies. Third down and 8 from the ODU 20-yard line. Coming up for Virginia Tech, Giovanni joined alongside Kyle Marchak with you. A fantastic night for football, a sold-out crowd. You don't get it much better than this, Kyle.
Yeah, and after that last conversion, you flip sides, and we've got the offense right in front of us, too. I mean, the atmosphere is electric.
Can Virginia Tech convert again? Already converted on a fourth down. Grant Wells is 3 for 8 for 29 yards along of 15. It was a gainer to Dwayne Lofton to keep the drive going. Trips at the top, shotgun formation. Wells claps his hands, receives the football. Wells got all day, fires over the middle. It is caught. Jalen Lane into the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. The transfer from Middle Tennessee has his first touchdown as a Hokie. And Virginia Tech has their first touchdown of 2023.
There have been questions all offseason about what this receiving room's going to look like. Fontel Mines just provided an answer. with Dwayne Lofton's addition being big for that first tutty.
20-yard strike. Grant Wells finds Jalen Lane for the score. Here's the PAT. It's up. It is good. John Love, the redshirt freshman, puts it through. Hokies up 9-0. A safety and a touchdown now for Tech.
That's more like it.
Jalen Lane last year caught 69 passes for 940 yards and 5 touchdowns at Middle Tennessee. A native of Clover, South Carolina, has one more year playing it here in Blacksburg, and he finds the end zone in game number 1. Kyle Arum of wide receivers, that was such a weak spot for the Hokies a year ago. They hit the transfer portal very, very hard. You see Lane in the mix. We have not seen a passing attempt to Ollie Jennings or Quan Felton today.
Which is remarkable to think of, right? It makes you wonder, all right, we're a quarter into Hokies offense. What is it going to look like when you bring those 2 main guys out? It leaves a big question mark, but right now we have at least one answer, and that's that those extra cast members or assistant members have provided some sort of offense so far.
This place is juiced. 9-0 Virginia Tech leads it. 7 seconds into the second quarter. The Hokies score on the first play from scrimmage in quarter number 2. A 20-yard touchdown strike from Grant Wells to Jalen Lane. Kyle Lowe ready to boot this football away. Old Dominion will receive a kickoff for the first time today. Here's the swing of the leg. The ball's up off the tee, into the air. It'll be received at the 2-yard line here for ODU. A sprint all the way to the 16, and Virginia Tech is there to make the stop. Amari Granger, the sophomore wide receiver out of Norfolk, Virginia, received it for ODU. Grabbed a couple. Excellent coverage for the Hokies.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, what kind of depth special teams will provide. Amari Granger is listed as kind of that secondary kick receiver. Of course, they're providing that twin set back there, but kind of an interesting kick, dropping it right on the 1-yard line. It worked out.
Well, now ODU goes to work. Back out there, the young quarterback, Grant Wilson, junior out of Arlington, Virginia, the transfer from Fordham. He's got 2 receivers at the top, 1 at the bottom, a tight end set, 1 man in the backfield. Receives the football, hands off, up the middle, diving forward. Keyshawn Wicks, the redshirt junior, he gains a chunk. They're going to mark him down at about the 23-yard line. Second down and short coming up for the Monarchs. He didn't even really get tackled there, just kind of tripped up on his own power. 2 receivers at the top, 1 at the bottom. Virginia Tech showing blitz, rushing 4, shotgun snap to Wilson. Wilson fires over the middle, incomplete. Intended receiver was Jordan Bly. Mansour Delane, the diving coverage for the Hokies. 3rd and 4 from the 23 coming up.
It's exciting seeing Delane be locked down the way he was last year, this year.
Stayed at Virginia Tech, had offers to depart, wanted to be a Hokie. A sophomore for the Hokies, such a key piece defensively. Big 3rd down and 4 coming up. The keys are rattling in Lane Stadium. 2 receivers to each side. The Monarchs now audible. Communication defensively for the Hokies. 2 safeties back. Press coverage now for Virginia Tech. 1 man to the backfield. Here's a snap back to Wilson. Wilson escaping pressure. He checks it down to his tailback, and Keyshawn Wicks dances across the 25-yard line, and he got a first down on the play. Keyshawn Wicks just made a man miss. Final tackle was made by Cole Nelson and Jaden Keller for Virginia Tech. But how about the play by Keyshawn Wicks? Was just able to maneuver around Derek Canteen, the transfer out of Georgia Southern for Virginia Tech, to pick up the first down.
That's just athleticism in the open field, something you can't teach.
Fresh set of downs from the 28. First down and 10. Here's a snap back to Wilson. Handoff Wicks. Wicks has a burst of speed and is cut down across the 35-yard line. Gains 8 on the play. Second down and 8 coming up. Stop made for Virginia Tech by Jalen Jones, the junior out of Richmond. So 2 receivers to each side. They keep doing that stacked formation. No tight ends in this set. Keyshawn Wicks is in the backfield. It's a shotgun formation for the young quarterback, Grant Wilson. 4-man front, 1 safety back for Virginia Tech. Press coverage out of the corners. Snap back to Wilson, hands it off to Wicks. who is swallowed up by Josh Fuga right at the line to gain. Looks like he got enough for the first down at about the 38.
Yeah.
Needed 2, believe he got it.
It'll be close. You know, Wicks is a middle-sized running back and kind of looking like a power back right now the way they're using him, but it's interesting that they're trying to throw a pitch or something in the flats to get him some space.
They mark him a half a yard short. So it's 3rd down and inches now from the 37 for ODU. Tech showing blitz, a 6-man front. Snap to Wilson, hands it off to Wicks. He pushes forward, met by a gang of Hokies. Looks like forward momentum gave him a yard. First ones there for Virginia Tech were Keyshawn Burgess and Narell Pollard as well as Will Johnson. But it's enough for a first down. They mark him at the 39. Needed about a half a yard. He got that and then some. Another fresh set of downs, back-to-back first downs for Old Dominion. Their first set of offensive momentum. Just under 12 minutes left to go in quarter number 2. It's 9-0 Virginia Tech with a lead. Moving left to right from the far hash at their own 39. 2 receivers at the bottom, 1 at the top. Wilson takes the snap for ODU. Pressure comes. He rolls out to the right. Wilson fires to the right sideline. A toe-tapping catch is made on the near sideline. Sharp-looking grab by Isaiah Page for Old Dominion. And another fresh set of downs as they get it just across midfield to the 49 into Virginia Tech territory. 2 receivers to each side. They go with that stacked set once again. Wilson looking to the far sideline for the call. 4-man front for Virginia Tech. The linebackers communicating. Jaden Keller and Keonta Jenkins commanding the defensive line. 1 safety back for the Hokies. Here's the snap to Wilson. Hands it off. Keyshawn Wicks bounces it out to the left side. Makes a man miss. What a cut across the 30. Is ripped down to the 28-yard line. What a play. Keyshawn Wicks is putting on a show. Kelly Lawson with the final tackle for Virginia Tech. This running back room is deep for ODU. Here's Wilson, airing it out, left sideline incomplete. Was looking for Isaiah Page. They moved incredibly quick, and a little bit of miscommunication as pressure came quick off the edge for Virginia Tech. Keonta Jenkins on the blitz forced the pass incomplete.
Money's being made by tempo right now from ODU, flashing a 10-second play clock all the way to the 30.
2 receivers to each side now from the far hash, moving left to right again from the Virginia Tech 27-yard line. It's 2nd down and 10. Lane Stadium into it. 2 safeties back for the Hokies, soft coverage and a 4-man front. Snap to Wilson, hands it off. Dancing and barreled down just shy of the 20-yard line is Keyshawn Wicks. A muscular tackle there for Virginia Tech, C.J. McCray in on the stop. 3rd down and 5. They give him 5 from the 22. From the far hash, left to right once again. 2 receivers to each side. 4-man front for Tech. Wilson, the junior, the Fordham transfer, has thrown more passes in this game than he did a year ago at Fordham. Came with his offensive coordinator in Decker. He receives a shotgun snap. He hands it off. Keyshawn Wicks bouncing it to the left side across the 20, taken down just shy of the 15. Gang tackle by the Hokies. Jalen Stroman finished him off out of bounds. And it's a chain mover for ODU. They have continued to chip their way down this football field and elongate this drive.
Hokies run stopping supposed to be good.
Snap back to Wilson. Play action fake. Fires over the middle. It is caught, and it's an ODU touchdown. Just like that, they go all the way down the field, and Dominic Dutton, the Glen Allen, Virginia native, does it. And Old Dominion right back into this football game. Ricky Ronnie very happy with that drive by his offense and the brand new offensive coordinator as well in Kevin Decker.
Considering the context, that could really sap the energy out of this stadium.
Place kicker Ethan Sanchez, the sophomore for the PAT, the point after try. The kick is up, and it splits the uprights. 9-7, Old Dominion is on the board with 9:33 left to go in the second quarter, Kyle.
It's interesting. You know, the defense is supposed to be that strong suit for Virginia Tech. I don't think it's talent. I think it's great play calling. Decker has designed what skill and talent and tools he has to perfection right now against what is usually a run-stopping barrel brick wall of a defense in maroon.
Let's keep it here instead of tossing it to a break here. 9-7, to put it bluntly, not really what people were expecting out of this Virginia Tech offense after the weapons that were added offensively. You talk about the running back room. You talk about the wide receiver room. 9:33 to go in half number one. They only have 9 points. 2 of them were really just points that ODU gave away on a safety with a bad snap.
100%. And for me, you look at a couple of timeouts and the expression on Wilson's face between those two, and not to be sappy, but it's a story of expression and self-belief. Wilson, no experience at a high level like this in a stadium like this. I mean, you could see it in his eyes on the replays before snaps in that first drive, like he's lost, like he's overwhelmed. Well, the only thing overwhelming right now is now his self-belief and trying to find his target. And that throw to Dutton is not made by a guy who just has a couple of snaps at Fordham.
Virginia Tech has 6 first downs. Old Dominion has 7. Virginia Tech has 36 rushing yards. ODU has 54. Tech with 57 passing yards, ODU with 29. The Hokies are 5 for 10, only 10 passing attempts so far today. And Kyle, Ollie Jennings came from Old Dominion. It has been so talked about that he was the star kid for the Hokies, right? Fontel Mines brought him in, had offers to go to Ohio State. And some of these other big programs chose to stay in-state, come to Virginia Tech. Transferring from ODU was so big for the Monarchs a year ago in taking down the Hokies, and really has been a non-factor early on here tonight.
It's interesting. It makes you wonder if there's something that we missed pregame, because this offense was in the air designed around the fact that they had more than one receiver now. And that extra receiver is Ollie Jennings.
One thing is certain, this crowd is absolutely unhinged, despite what the scoreboard may say for the Hokies.
65,632. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. They called it a sellout earlier this year. Currently on the field, they are celebrating the 2023 ACC Tournament champions. The Virginia Tech women's basketball team made it all the way to the Final Four. Kenny Brooks and his team were unbelievable all season long as we get back to football. 9:33 left to go in quarter number 2. Virginia Tech to get the football back with a 9-7 lead. Giovanni Heater joined alongside Kyle Marchak with you all night long from this awesome atmosphere in a jam-packed, rockin' Lane Stadium. Football is back. Week 1 of college football is underway. Ethan Sanchez to kick this ball off. Malachi Thomas and Bayshal Tootin back deep to return for Virginia Tech. The ball is up into the air. Bayshal Tootin receives the football on the far sideline from his own 5-yard line. Collides with one of his own men as he dances across the 25-yard line and is knocked down and out of bounds. 2 yards past the 25 at the 27. That is where Virginia Tech will go to work offensively.
If there's one thing that Virginia Tech is looking to captivate and take advantage of, it's the fact that they've had a decent starting position, if not above average starting position, on almost every drive tonight.
Ollie Jennings has yet to have been targeted tonight for Virginia Tech. Bayshal Tootin at the right hip of Grant Wells from the far hash, 27-yard line. Wells takes a shotgun snap, dumps it off Jalen Lane in the flat. Jalen Lane dances across the 30 and is absolutely crushed by the big man in the middle. Jason Henderson on the stop, led the nation in tackles a year ago, was nearly ejected from this ball game on targeting earlier a couple of drives ago. Big stop for him right there. Now Tech moving again, 2 receivers to each side from the near hash. It's Tootin in the backfield. Grant Wells with a look to his sideline to receive the call. 3-man front for ODU. How about 3 safeties back? Soft coverage by the Monarchs defensively. Wells audibles. Tootin moves to his right hip. Clap of the hands. Here's a snap. Handoff. Bayshal Tootin across the 35 and is spun down at the 36-yard line. And on the stop, Denzel Lowry, as well as Cole Daniels, the JUCO product out of Mississippi Gulf Coast. Had 1 sack on 44 tackles last year with Mississippi Gulf Coast. Now with ODU. 2 receivers to each side from the near hash. Moving right to left, 3rd down and 1 for Virginia Tech from their own 36. Wells audibles to his offensive line. The defensive line shifts to the left. It's Gosnell in motion. It's a handoff up the middle. Bayshall 2 in, is wrapped up, and he is driven down. Looks like he got the first down. Forward momentum gives it to him before he's taken down in the backfield. Jaleel Taylor and Chris Trinidad team up for the tackle, but it's a first down for Virginia Tech. Forward progress.
Those inside handoffs are the move right now. With the wide receivers not picking it up, you just got to go chip by chip.
Tootin has now had 9 carries, 2 receivers to each side. Snap back to Grant Wells in the shotgun. He drops back to pass, airing it out down the left sideline. It is over the head of Quan Felton. Incomplete at the 15-yard line. Nolan Johnson, the High Point, North Carolina native, a transfer from Miami of Ohio in coverage, but really just a miscue for the Hokies. It's 2nd and 10. Missed opportunity there, the first time we've seen Virginia Tech air it out tonight.
Quan Felton is very comfortable in the go. That was his first try at it, just missed it. It was really more of a Wells problem there.
Interviews all week, Quan Felton felt so confident going into tonight. Low snap, received and pitched out to Malachi Thomas on the right side. And he tumbles forward across the 40 down to the 43-yard line. Now 3rd down coming up, 3rd down and 5 from their own 43 for Virginia Tech. 7-10 and counting left to go in quarter number 2. It's 9-7. The Hokies lead it by a safety. It was the first score of the ball game, a snap over the head of the punter. Tech with a huge 3rd down. Tight end in motion is Daquan Wright. 2 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top from the far hash, moving right to left. Shotgun snap to Wells. It bounces up into his hands. Wells firing over the middle, incomplete through the hands of Ali Jennings, the former Old Dominion Monarch. His first target of the day. It drops incomplete, and it's 4th down. The punting unit comes out for Virginia Tech. In coverage back there for ODU, it was Nolan Johnson again, but really looked more like miscommunication between quarterback and receiver.
Yeah, you know, that's a distance thing. That's what Wells had been talking about during the fall camp all time is how do I get that timing right, that tempo with my receivers? Well, Jennings is pretty fast.
Virginia Tech's offense has been underwhelming so far today. 4th down and 5 from the 43. Peter Moore is out to punt this football. He gets it away, a spiraling punt. Fair catch signal as it bounces down at the 6 and just rolls into the end zone. 2 Hokies dove at it, and Jalen Jones and Jalen Stroman, they couldn't keep it out of the goal line, and it goes into the end zone for a touchback. So now Old Dominion will get the football back. 6:34 left to go in the second quarter. 9-7, Virginia Tech leads. Kyle, this offense just really doesn't have it right now for Tech.
You know, last year we saw a lot of penalties. Right now it's just the tempo. To me, it's a step in the right direction because you have the right tools. Now it's about getting them all on the same page. That's what I've noticed in the air, especially in that drive, which they clearly had more of an intent to go in the air. They finally threw a ball in the direction of Ali Jennings, and it was just a little bit behind the speed on that slant route of Ali Jennings.
Tech has 63 passing yards, 109 total yards of offense. ODU, 83 total yards of offense. Old Dominion gets the ball from their own 20-yard line, 6:34. And I got to say, Kyle, Grant Wilson, a guy that they must have been so impressed with in camp to name him the starting quarterback after being so inexperienced even at the FCS level.
100%. Again, that's been the theme, and for Hokies fans in particular, they almost weaponize it against him. Hey, man, you've only played a couple of snaps at Fordham. Welcome to Lane Stadium. Well, I said it. You see the expression on his face in that first drive? They've got all the right tools working in synchrony right now. He seems way more confident.
Looks like we just had a winner down on the field. A cash kick is converted by a student for Virginia Tech. This place is absolutely awesome tonight, Kyle. One of the best atmospheres in all of college football. Never disappoints. Doesn't matter what the team's record is, what the scoreboard reads. this place is always revved up and ready to go. And Enter Sandman definitely didn't disappoint tonight either.
It's great. Lane Stadium's been around since 1964. It holds 65,000, which is about run-of-the-mill in Power 5 stadiums, especially in the ACC, maybe more toward the above-average scale. But with the architecture and the oak trees and the valley of New River around us, it's like it traps the noise. That's why they call it the Terror Dome, and it's not even a dome, right? But it really feels like that. It's crazy.
I thought Chris Fowler for ESPN a couple of years ago when Clemson was here said it best. He called it a cauldron of noise. Very cool word to describe this incredible atmosphere. Such an intimidating place to play, but Grant Wilson has been there and has been ringing the bell all night long so far for Old Dominion. Drove his team all the way down the field last time they touched the football to score a touchdown. Now they have an opportunity to go down the field and possibly take a lead. 6:34 left to go in the second quarter. 9-7. Tech leads it from the far hash. It's Wilson taking a shotgun snap. He hands it off to his tailback, who bursts forward down to the 25-yard line. Obi Sinai into the ball game, the Aurora, Colorado native, taken down by a couple of linebackers for Virginia Tech. Kelly Lawson, first one to get there. So it's 2nd down and 5 from the 25. Bobbled snap as Wilson's able to recover. He gets it out to Sinai once again, who is drilled at the 35-yard line. A 10-yard gain for Sinai on the ground, and it's a first down for ODU, and Nazir Peoples on the stop. Quick offense here for ODU. Wilson, play action fake, pressure coming behind, airing it out down the right sideline, incomplete. Pass was intended for a streaking wide receiver down the right sideline for ODU, and Kelby Williams, that was his first target of the ball game. The sophomore couldn't quite get there, incomplete. 2 Hokies back there in coverage. Williams really, though, was quite open. And it's incomplete, 2nd down and 10. 2 receivers at the top, 1 at the bottom, and finally just a little bit of breath here for the Virginia Tech defense. ODU moving quickly, and now they look to audible. 2 safeties back, press coverage on the receivers for Virginia Tech. 4-man front, Tech showing blitz. They do blitz. It's a handoff to Sinai. He's ripped down in the backfield. Big 21, Kelly Lawson in on the stop for Virginia Tech. Had a pick 6 against Georgia Tech a year ago right here in Lane Stadium. Has those big long arms and was able to reach out and get Sinai. Here's a snap to Wilson. He fires down the left sideline, incomplete. Was looking for Dominic Dutton, who had a big catch earlier today. Mansour Delane was like a glove all over him, and it's 4th down.
Mansour Delane has definitely on record for saying he likes to cover those receivers on those go routes, and that's the first one that we've seen ODU throw undeniably all night. And that speed's going to be all smothered up by Delane. He was excellent last year.
Frustration on the sideline for the offensive coordinator, Kevin Decker. The punting unit is out. Ethan Duaney, last time they did this, it went over his head and into the end zone for a safety. Snap from Brock Betters is there. Duaney gets it off a spiraling punt that is received by Bayshall Tootin across the 30. And that is Jalen Lane, who is spun down at the 38-yard line. 83, not 33. Lane grabs about 7 on the return. And a reversal of field position here. Virginia Tech's offense will head out with 5:15 left to go here in half number 1. Kyle, what is it that the Tech offense has to do now to kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm?
Well, it's continuing to find that tempo. I think it's kind of intuitive, but from a sports bettor's perspective, you want to put your money down on Ollie Jennings with the numbers he had last year. You have a better quarterback and a Power 5 arm in Grant Wells, and you ask yourself, what is it going to look like once Jennings gets going? Well, that is up to the offensive coordinator, Tyler Bowen. You got to find a route that gives your guy space. This is his first game since, playing for the team on the opposite side. Now he's playing against that defense. He's got the knowledge of that secondary, which struggled mightily last year. How do you get Jennings going?
What is the ceiling and basement for Virginia Tech in 2023?
Well, are we barring the first quarter that we've just seen from him, right? It begs a lot of questions. We've heard it from a lot of sources saying that the basement could be as low as 2 and the ceiling could be as high as 6. But I'd argue with the trajectory of this program and the talent they have on it, you give them a couple of games, especially against ACC competition, and that ceiling could be as much as 7.
I like it. 7 hasn't really been the show we thought we'd see so far tonight. Kind of the expectation that they might come out here and throw the ball around the yard a little bit, score some points. Instead, it is 9-7 with 5:15 left to go here in the second quarter of action. Lane Stadium very much, though, still into this ball game. Kyle, let's talk a little bit about Kevin Decker, the offensive coordinator for Old Dominion. Just kind of felt like all of a sudden, a couple of first downs, they had a drive going, and then it stalled out. What are your thoughts on the quick hurry up? It just seemed like all of a sudden, 2 plays later, the offense is off the field and the defense has to come back out. Now they get the rest here. Of course they get the timeout. They get an opportunity to rest and take a break. But when you do that hurry up, you run the risk of turning the ball back over very, very quickly and giving it back to the other offense.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, you wonder why they're trying to use the hurry up and how they're trying to weaponize it. Well, it's trying to affect the tempo and the ability to get set for the formations that they're showing, depending on what receivers they're sending out there. And right now what I'm seeing is that they are showing different receiver formations to create space on the wide out flats for their running backs to get space, although they've thrown a lot of inside handoffs to Keyshawn Wicks too. So really any formation of space they can get for Wicks is helping their side right now. Whatever it is, they're keeping the Hokies on their toes.
Neither quarterback has had a first half to remember with 5:15 left to go. A 9-7 Tech lead. Grant Wilson for ODU is 4 for 10 for 29 yards and a score. Grant Wells is 5 for 12 for 55 yards and a score. Kyron Drones 1 for 1 for 8 yards. Here comes the Tech offense from their own 38-yard line. First down and 10 between the hashes, moving right to left. Power formation. Tootin in the backfield, shifts to the left hip of Wells. It's a pitch out to Bayshall Tootin, and he is taken down after gaining maybe a yard, about a half a yard. Shoved out of bounds. Initial stop made by Marquez Bell on the other side for ODU. Second down and 9. They did give him a yard.
Now how good Bayshall Tootin is at using his non-ball arm to create space. He just threw 2 towels off of that defender right there.
Pistol set now for Virginia Tech. Daquan Wright, tight end, in motion. Here's a snap to Wells. Hands it off. Bayshall Tootin plows forward. Taken down just shy of the 45-yard line at the 44. And on the stop, Sean Asbury, the nickelback out of Stafford, Virginia, a transfer from Boston College, so familiar with the ACC. And now Virginia Tech facing third down and 4 from the 44. 2 receivers stacked to each side. 1 man in the backfield, Wright, the tight end, in motion. Shotgun snap to Wells. He rolls out immediately to the right. He fires, and he has Stephen Gosnell for a first down and more across the 50-yard line. Knocked out of bounds at the 46. First down for Virginia Tech. A chain mover, and it looked good.
That's big. Trying to get some space, and that's the first big reception for Gosnell.
56, Jalen White McLean in on the stop for ODU. Trips to the near side, 1 receiver to the far side. Shotgun snap to Wells. He hands it off to his tailback. Tootin is ripped down right at the line of scrimmage. Big man in the backfield, Jason Henderson, got there for Old Dominion, the second-team All-American linebacker from a year ago.
That's what Henderson does. Read the play, pressed up. They were showing blitz anyways, but man, to be that big and that quick to stop a guy that's so much smaller than you and that much quicker, very impressive.
He is the guy for ODU as they show blitz. Power set again for Virginia Tech. Pair of receivers to the near side. It's a tight end and a receiver to the far side. Shotgun formation with a tailback in the backfield, and it's a play-action fake. Pass out into the flat. Daquan Wright dropped it. Hit him right in the chest at the 50-yard line. Deflected away out of bounds. Really nobody in coverage. Another miscue for the Hokies, and it's 3rd and 10.
Daquan Wright last year 4th in receiving yards, 5th in receptions for Virginia Tech. 3 drop passes tonight.
Massive third down here from their own, from the enemy 46-yard line. 3:09 left to go on a stop clock in the first half. 9-7 Virginia Tech leads. Tight end in motion. Now trips to the near side. 1 receiver at the top. Between the hashes are the Hokies. ODU showing blitz. They have a 5-man front. Shotgun snap to Grant Wells. He drops back to pass, airs it out, down the left sideline. It's caught by Jalen Lane. Knocked out of bounds at the 12. He continues to impress in his Hokie debut, going up and over Taj Rael for the completion.
That's athleticism you cannot teach. That kid just got mossed.
I was thinking the same thing, Marchak. Receiver to each side now from the near hash, moving right to left with speed or the Hokies. Lane is the man in motion. Snap to Wells. He hands it off. Bayshall Tootin plows down to the 10-yard line. Gains 2 on the play. Virginia Tech 8 yards to go. The cool thing here is they can get a first down and get it within the 2 and then have a whole fresh set once again. So it's 2nd down and 8 now from the 10 for Virginia Tech. Jaleel Taylor in on the tackle for Old Dominion. Receivers scramble out. Now they're bunched just to the right of the offensive line on the far side. Quan Felton on the near side. Brent Pryce trying to get a timeout here, and he does. Brent Pryce scrambles onto the field to grab a timeout. 2:10 left to go on a stop clock here. 9-7. Virginia Tech leads it over ODU. 2nd down and 8 coming up, and Ricky Ronnie is furious, running down the far sideline to have a conversation with the officials. He is absolutely irate right now, Kyle.
Yeah, it's tough to tell exactly what it is, but with the pressure of the red zone and the Hokies just steamrolling, hard not to be frustrated if you're Ronnie.
Short timeout, so we'll keep it right here in Blacksburg. 2nd down and 8 for Virginia Tech. Absolutely incredible weather tonight in Blacksburg. The lights are on at Lane Stadium. It was about 80 degrees outside all day long. Fantastic early football season tailgate weather. Center Street was rocking, and this place is juiced. Ricky Ronnie heads back to his sideline. Here come the Hokies back on the field as well. I think he was frustrated with the timing of that timeout by Brent Pry. 2 of them were on the same staff at Penn State for years. Ronnie, the offensive coordinator, Brent Pry, the defensive coordinator under James Franklin. Here comes Tech. 2nd down and 8 from the enemy 10. Shotgun snap back to Grant Wells. Wells looking right, fires right, end zone. It is caught. Ali Jennings in the back right corner of the end zone. The former Old Dominion Monarch goes up and over Taj Rael. Tech puts up their 2nd tutty of the ball game. He's a bad man, Marchak. We were told that is what he can do. And Taj Rael got mossed for the 2nd time that drive.
It's a coming out party. That's a massive catch.
It's just a simple post route. Goes straight, breaks out to the right corner of the end zone. Beautiful throw. Point after try up in the air. Love puts it through. 16-7. Virginia Tech scores with 2:03 left to go in half number 1. Ali Jennings. It was 2nd down and 8 from the 10. 10-yard pitch and catch to the back right pylon. And Wells and Jennings celebrate together with a little love from Daquan Wright as well. We'll step aside here in Blacksburg. Brand new score. Tech scores their 2nd touchdown of the ball game, 16-7. Virginia Tech leads it over Old Dominion in Blacksburg. Here, 3304 Sports is attacking the 2023 football season with a brand new goal. Our mission is to cover all 12 Virginia Tech football games and an eventual bowl game to close the season. But we need your help. Please consider donating to our GoFundMe page, where your contributions will go towards covering travel costs for our student journalists this football season. From hotels to transportation, every little bit helps. Head to our social media pages and click the link to donate today.
Be sure to check out The Beat after tonight's ball game. Head over to the 3304 Sports website for in-depth written coverage of every snap. Our writers and editors work tirelessly to produce written content covering all things Virginia Tech athletics. Feature stories, game recaps, and so much more. All things, all sports, all the time. This is 3304 Sports.
3304 Sports has established itself as one of the elite student sports journalism outlets in the industry. Home to All-American broadcasters and award-winning writers, 3304 Sports is the spot for student coverage of Virginia Tech athletics. From live play-by-play broadcasting to beat writing, feature articles, studio shows, and more. Every touchdown, every buzzer beater, every win, we're there. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
Hey sports fans, be sure to check out 3304 Sports on social media so you don't miss any of our awesome content. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at 3304 Sports. From pre- and post-game stand-ups to links for articles and studio shows, the 3304 Sports social media team has you covered. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
You're tuned into college football on 3304 Sports. Let's get back to the action.
Virginia Tech went down the field and scored. Last time they touched the football to make it a 16-7 ball game here in Lane Stadium. 2:03 left to go in half number one. Giovanni Heater joined alongside Kyle Marchak with you. Kyle Lowe ready to swing the leg and boot the ball deep back to the Monarchs. Kyle, the first time we've seen some explosive plays out of the Virginia Tech offense.
Yeah, great tempo from them that last drive.
Kyle Lowe swings the leg, toe is Matt Leather, a deep kick that goes out of the back of the end zone. Boy, that got even past the back line of the end zone, out of bounds. The special teams unit hyping up the north end zone of Lane Stadium, the ever so famous student section here in the Terror Dome. 16-7, all of a sudden a little bit of a jive here inside this rocking atmosphere. Old Dominion out once again. The young quarterback, Grant Wilson, has not looked bad today, Kyle. I will say that. He went down the field and engineered a scoring drive 2 series ago for the Monarchs. Can he do it again here? 2-minute drill for the Monarchs. 2 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Power set, shotgun snap back to Wilson. Play action fake. He's taken down at the ankles in the backfield. A sack for Virginia Tech. The big man off the edge for the Hokies. Antoine Powell-Ryland, the Florida transfer, with his first sack in a Virginia Tech jersey. A guy that was so highly touted out of the portal, a huge get. And Virginia Tech just jumped off sides. The cadence fooled the Hokies. Narell Pollard, the guilty man. And that sack is going to be negated because it's going to put him right back to 10 yards out.
Yeah, we saw a lot of sloppiness from this team last year early on. I mean, at one point, Brent Pry actually established a system where for every silly penalty they gave up, they had to run after practice. So maybe that's in place early this season too.
Receiver to the top, pair of receivers down to the bottom from the far hash, moving left to right on your radio dial. 1:39 left to go here in the second quarter, 16-7. Virginia Tech leads it over the Monarchs as they drive left to right, does ODU. Snap back to Wilson, hands it off to his tailback, and Keyshawn Hicks, who is wrapped up after gaining about a yard. Taken down by Josh Fuga of Virginia Tech, and they call a timeout to stop the clock here.
Yeah, good
Smart
timeout.
call of a timeout here. What are your thoughts, Kyle?
I'd say so. You know, it's early into the drive, so that's not going to help them down the last, 1 minute and 45 seconds. But it gives them a breath because clearly that design play of having Wicks just rumble up the field isn't going to work in 2 minutes. So now they're going to see what they can do, probably to get the ball in the air here.
Timeout called by the Hokies. They have 1 left in the second quarter. So the idea to stop the clock and get the football back here, it'll be 3rd and 8 from the 27 when the teams take the field. A quick 30-second timeout. 117 passing yards for Virginia Tech, just 29 for Old Dominion. 171 total yards for the Hokies. ODU has run the ball well, though. They have 64 rushing yards, 93 total yards. Massive 3rd down and 8. And it looks like we have a stoppage of play once again. A review taking place for targeting. Let's take a look here, Kyle, at the replay. Jalen Stroman, oh yeah, I would be shocked if that doesn't get called targeting. Jalen Stroman came in head first to really lay on one last hit on Keyshawn Wicks.
So it's what we saw on that last play that was reviewed. on the opposite side, where Henderson was being checked for targeting when trying to throw his upper body at the frame of Bashal Tootin, or that was Jalen Lane, pardon me, right? Where you have the first half tackler wrapping up the legs of the runner Wicks here, and then Stroman comes in. Well, the problem is with the legs wrapped up of Wicks that the frame and upper body of Wicks is already low to the ground. So what do you ask of yourself as a linebacker? All he can do is try and dive forward. Unfortunately, his helmet was right there to do it.
Oh, this is beautiful, Kyle. The student section in the north end zone of Lane Stadium goes nuts when they play this song as well. They usually play it shortly before halftime. A killer by the Killers, of course, Mr. Brightside. Karaoke here at Lane Stadium. Massive 3rd down and 8 coming up, and would be a huge loss if starting safety Jalen Stroman is taken out of this ballgame, which I believe he will be. Let's get the call. Targeting. Yeah, he led with the crown of his helmet. Kind of thought that one was obvious, Marchak, and that's tough. 43 tackles a year ago for Tech, 22 solo tackles. Had 2 forced fumbles last year, and the good thing is, if you're Jalen Stroman, obviously you're frustrated, but if that happened in half number 2, he would have had to sit out the first half of the next game. Instead, it happens with 1:33 to go in the second quarter, and he's safe to play next week. That's big, though, to not have to sit out the first half next week. Would you agree?
Massive. I mean, that's a guy who played 11 of 12 last year. It's no slouch. That's your starting safety right there alongside Peoples.
Well, with the targeting, it's a fresh set of downs. A first down for Old Dominion. They play action, dump it out to the far sideline. It's incomplete. Pass was intended for a Marion Granger, thrown too low to the turf. Miscommunication there by the Monarchs, and it's 2nd down and 10. In coverage for Virginia Tech, in the area, I should say, was Kelly Lawson, the outside linebacker. 2 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. From the 41-yard line of Old Dominion, move the Monarchs. 2nd down and 10 with a stop clock at 1:29 to go before the halftime break. Shotgun formation. Wilson claps his hands, takes the snap. He fires to the far sideline. Wide receiver screen. It is complete this time to Granger, and he is knocked out of bounds after a 5-yard gain. So it'll be 3rd down and 5. Mansour Delane shoved him out. That stops the clock. And now a slight stoppage of play here.
Yeah, I mean, even with a lack of experience with a roster that's 50% newcomers, they've used the tools that they have pretty well. I mean, doubling up on the same play, this is the second time we've seen that. We've seen 2 runs in the flat for Keyshawn Wicks that they repeated with a QB keeper, and now 2 wide receiver screens to Granger, which has worked in succession.
And Josh Fuga goes down for Virginia Tech. And Kyle, you don't want to speculate here, but I just saw on the near sideline Dorian Strong signaling for Mansour Delane to go down, realizing the Hokies had too many men on the field, and they needed to stop this as Josh Fuga is up and already walking off the field. A slight limp. Again, you don't want to speculate, but I literally just saw Dorian Strong telling Mansour Delane to go down as Mansour was trying to get off the field. Another Hokie was trying to get on the field, and then, and Fuga just got right back into the huddle and started yelling to his defense, saying, and they're talking about it on TV. Look, they're showing Chris Marv, defensive coordinator for Tech. Yeah, the Hokies definitely just faked an injury there.
Oh, that's awesome. I wonder what Mike Burnup's saying right now.
I am curious to hear what Mike Burnup is saying. It's 3rd down and 7 from their own 44 for Old Dominion. 2 receivers to each side. It's a 4-man front for Virginia Tech as Grant Wilson looks to audible. 2 safeties back for the Hokies. Lane Stadium is rocking on a Saturday night in Blacksburg. How about this crowd? Wilson talking to his offensive line, now back in the shotgun with a pair of receivers to each side. Tech is showing blitz. Finally a snap back to Wilson. Pressure comes, he rolls to the right. He fires to the far sideline. It's caught just shy of the 40-yard line. A first down for the Monarchs. Amarian Granger again. 3 targets in a row, 2 of them for completions. This time a first down. Dorian Strong wrapped him up. But now it's a 1st down and 10 from the 41 of Virginia Tech. A handoff as the tailback is met by a wall. Keyshawn Wicks danced around, gained about 5, and is taken down by Mario Kendricks in the middle for Virginia Tech. Clock ticks just south of a minute to play, and I believe ODU just took a timeout.
Yeah, it's a smart timeout. I think Virginia Tech, that first timeout 40 yards ago, to get a breath. For ODU, it's the game plan. They do have 2 timeouts to soak up. With a minute to go, they're on track to try and find themselves in the red zone, but you can only use the flats and Keyshawn Wicks with those inside handoffs as much as you could. You got to test the secondary, which, mind you, is very strong for Virginia Tech. Maybe you go over the top with some of your best receivers. You try and change the tempo, which is what they've been doing all night. Javon Harvey has been a little quiet this drive, don't you think?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you here on that one, Kyle. A reminder, tonight's broadcast brought to you by Tech Sideline. Established in 1996, Tech Sideline is your destination for all Virginia Tech athletics coverage. Tech Sideline, all Hokie, all the time, period. 16-7 the score here inside a jam-packed Lane Stadium. 2nd down and 5 from the Hokie 36 for ODU with 56 seconds left to go in this opening half. Grant Wilson looking to the far sideline for the call. They move left to right from the near hash. 2 receivers stacked to each side. It's Wicks in the backfield at the right hip of Wilson. 4-man front, Tech rushes 4. Wilson airing it out down the left sideline. It is through the hands of the intended receiver, Javon Harvey. Incomplete. Looked like they had a surefire touchdown. Dorian Strong was beat, but unable to haul it in was Javon Harvey, who was the second leading receiver a year ago for the Monarchs. Instead, it's 3rd down and 5. They went for the home run ball, and they couldn't quite get it. It was foul just to the left of the foul pole. 3rd and 5 from the 36. Tech holding on to a 16-7 lead. 2 receivers to each side. Wicks at the right hip of Wilson. Tech with a 4-man front, 2 safeties back, soft coverage, handoff, Wicks. Wicks up the middle, into open space, 15, cut down at the 10. Old Dominion inside the red zone, fooled everyone in Lane Stadium by running the football on 3rd and 5. Jaden Keller, touchdown saving tackle. Moving quickly are the Monarchs. They hand it off to Wicks. He bounces to the right side and is spun down at the 6-yard line. In on the stop for Virginia Tech, the middle linebacker, Jaden Keller, the Bristol, Tennessee native. 2 receivers stacked to each side. Wilson in the shotgun. Wicks at his right hip, receives the shotgun snap. Quarterback keeper, and taking him down in the backfield is Keller. Jaden Keller with back-to-back big plays for the Hokies. 16 seconds left. Old Dominion forced to call a timeout.
That's a massive, massive sack for Keller. And a great read by the linebackers on that play, especially being hurried up. That is instinct. That is athleticism, and that is the coaching of the lead guy, Brent Pry, who you know specializes in that linebacker work as the former DC of Penn State, that LBU, if you will, right? So that is a massive stop, especially this close to the end zone with that much time left in the clock.
Old Dominion, 30-second timeout, looking to make this a 1-score game. 16 seconds, they have a timeout to work with, so does Virginia Tech. 16-7, the Hokies lead it. It's 3rd down and 7 from the Virginia Tech 7-yard line. The biggest moment of the game to this point. Probably time for maybe 3 plays max, Kyle?
Yeah, that's if they're lucky. They've got that timeout.
Lane Stadium on its feet. 2 receivers to each side. Between the hashes are the Monarchs. Shotgun formation. Sinai at the right hip of Wilson. And we got whistles. Timeout Virginia Tech. Icing the offense a little bit. Might have seen something they didn't like in the formation, Kyle.
Yeah, it looked like what we saw earlier, where maybe they were going to try and change up the tempo and go over the top. They had Harvey out wide to the left, and the ball's on the right hash line, so he's got plenty of space to work with in a post route. That's my guess of what they might have been trying to show there.
Virginia Tech uses its final timeout of the first half. 16-7, Tech leads it, 3rd down and 7. On 4th down, do you kick the field goal if you don't get the first down here?
100%. I mean, if you're ODU, you are taking any amount of points that are surefire to close within that 9-point lead right now.
And I should correct myself if you don't get the touchdown, I should say. Do you take the points on 4th down? You'd have to think so in a close game like this. 16-7. 16 seconds left to go. Monarchs looking to make it a one-score game. 2 receivers stacked to each side. 5-man front for Virginia Tech. Grant Wilson engineering the offense for the Monarchs. Lane Stadium rocking. Obi Sinai at his right hip. He claps his hands, takes a shotgun snap, hands it off. Sinai swallowed up at the 10. Taken down by Jaden Keller in the backfield. Norrell Pollard helped him out as well. And Old Dominion's going to have to take a timeout here. They do. With 2 seconds left to go, they're going to take the field goal attempt.
Yeah, you were almost waiting for that whistle, right? Because as the play was thrown down, the clock took to 11, then 10. Clearly, once it got down to 9, they said, okay, it's time to just take the points and get out of the half and try and reset. I think it's time for ODU to hit the locker rooms.
Smart coaching by Ricky Ronnie in his 3rd season at the helm of the Monarchs to let that clock bleed all the way down to 2 before stopping it. That way, Virginia Tech has no opportunity to touch the football again. 16-7, a field goal would make it a 6-point game. Heading into the halftime break in what has been an underwhelming performance in the first half for Tech. If you're Old Dominion, you got to say, hey, we did this exact thing a year ago. Game on, Hokies. Ethan Sanchez, the sophomore, went 10 for 13 on field goals a year ago. First attempt of 2023, the snap, the kick is up, it's tipped, but it gets through. Field goal is good. Looked like it was tipped by Virginia Tech. Gimpy to get up and over the crossbar. Dorian Strong got a piece of it. Nevertheless, it goes through the uprights, and 16-10 is the halftime score. Kyle, we'll talk things over for a moment before we send it to a halftime break. Maybe a little bit of an underwhelming first half for Virginia Tech?
That first couple of drives, that first quarter especially, you walk away with an advantage, but you wouldn't have guessed it would have been 2-0, right? Grant Wells is on track for 218 yards. That's not the form of Grant Wells that you want. This is a guy that averaged more than that against a plethora of defenses better than ODU's. So you got to find a way to get him going. Again, you can provide the caveat of the fact that these are new receivers that he's working with. So it's kind of one of those things that you wait to see until the second half. As for ODU, well, they kind of had the struggle that what Virginia Tech saw last year, and that's that they really only have one receiver that they can use, at least on paper. They've only used Javon Harvey, or at least that's what it was supposed to be. But Keyshawn Wicks out of the backfield has been their main guy as a spark plug with 12 touches and 70 yards of offense, which is pretty impressive. Receiving-wise, Amari Granger's been the mainstay. So it's about kind of widening the offensive toolkit, if you will.
ODU, believe it, the Monarchs very much so in this ball game. 16-10, the halftime score. Virginia Tech leads. For Kyle Marchak, I'm Giovanni Heater. We'll step aside for a halftime break and send you back to the studio when we return. It's second half football from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. 16-10, Virginia Tech on top.
The first half of football is in the books. Stay tuned for the second half of action after this on 3304 Sports. You're listening to college football on 3304 Sports. For the second half action, we send you back up to the booth.
From Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia, it's the first Saturday night lights of action in Blacksburg. Kyle Marchak alongside Giovanni Heater. At halftime, we are almost ready for the second portion of play. It's the Hokies hosting the Monarchs to start off their 2023 campaign. And as expected, the offense still figuring out their bearings in that first half, Gio.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Virginia Tech didn't necessarily look like maybe some people might have expected, especially with the new receiving room and the running backs, but nevertheless, there was some definite flashes. I got to say, Jalen Lane has looked really sharp. He's been targeted 5 times. He has received the ball 4 times, 69 yards, does have the touchdown, also had that long 34-yard reception, and Ollie Jennings has a touchdown as well for Virginia Tech.
All right, out to receive the kick to start off the half for the Old Dominion Monarchs, who will have possession to get things rolling. It's Lamarian James and Amarian Granger out in the backfield. Putting boot to leather to get things rolling. It's going to be the kickoff guy, Kyle Lowe. 16-10 your score as we enter the second half of play. 109 yards for Wells Hokies offense, and Grant Wilson will enter the field in a moment. Only 47 yards in the air from that young man. And as expected, a guy who doesn't have a ton of experience at the, let's say, Power 5 level in an environment like this, has shown flashes of excellence, but for the most part, they've relied on the running game.
Yeah, even at the FBS level, played a lot of FCS ball with Fordham in the first year there, and then actually took a decreased role the second year that he was there, only threw 5 passes in 2022. And out of the bright lights of Lane Stadium, this is a very, very tough atmosphere to play.
A lot of good talk about Baysholtuk and Malachi Thomas, what they bring to a running room for Virginia Tech. Well, Keyshawn Wicks has stolen the show. 70 yards in the first half, no touchdowns, but a huge producer on 12 touches.
Yeah, he's been really impressive. His ability to be shifty and make guys miss has been what has been really surprising. Keyshawn Wicks has looked sharp. He's been a big glimmer of bright spots on this Old Dominion offense.
And now we have the field crew taking a look at a huge patch of dirt missing out past the, let's say, Hokies side, beyond the hash marks, right around the 35-yard marker, which is holding off the kickoff for the second half. The referee, Gary Patterson, was just on the mic explaining to a crowd that feels like it has to be held back by chains right now. Yeah, we're going to play football in a moment, but we've got to tend to this massive hole in the turf, which is Kentucky Bluegrass, the facility here on Worsham Field.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get eyes on exactly what they're doing about this scenario. It's as if they pointed it out, but never really adjusted it. Kind of a tough thing to do in the middle of the game.
All right, well, the sand is patted down in a spot that could mean something down the road, as ODU will go back in that direction. But for now, Kyle Lowe and the rest of the Dogs are loose. He steps up and he puts foot to leather. Line drive end over end toward the end zone. Touchdown.
Can't ask for better than that. You want a touchback every time in the modern era of college football. Kyle Lowe has given that to the Hokies all night.
Grant Wilson for the Old Dominion Monarchs. 6 of 14 in the first half. 47 yards and 1 touchdown to his credit. He's going to have to turn that up against a Virginia Tech offense to kick off the second half.
No doubt. We saw a really sharp drive out of them, their third time up, and they can just kind of find that momentum again. Ran the football incredibly well on that drive. Touchdown pass from Wilson.
All right, in the shotgun is Wilson with Wicks at his left hip, 2 receivers on both sides. Snap from the 25, hands off, and he's going to keep it and run out to the left side. He's soaked up right around the line of chains, and it will be a gain of 11, first down in the first play.
Yeah, first down just like that. It's that quarterback keeper. The designed run was working in half number 1 for ODU, and Kevin Decker says we're going to go back to it here to start half
Quick
number
hurry
2.
out and a throw to the flat. It's going to be received. It looked like it was Granger on the catch, a gain of 4. Now quickly the hurry up, 2nd and 5 on the 40. In the shotgun, Wilson, step it up. Here's an audible. Wicks at his left hip, 2 receivers on both sides. Similar formation on the opening part of the drive. Press from corners out wide. And now at the right hip as Wicks adjusts, stepping back. Shotgun snap. Here it is. Leather in the hands of Wilson. He's going to air it out to the left side. Granger diving, could not make the play.
Yeah, tough pitch and catch opportunity there as Wilson just couldn't quite connect with his receiver on the far sideline. Diving attempt, nothing going, and the Hokies, Josh Fuga's down second time tonight.
Yeah, Fuga with his right knee up in the air. And unfortunately this time, no reason to believe that they're trying to call a fake injury. No
last
appearance.
time it was obvious.
Yeah, last time it was obvious as they had an extra man on the field. So Fuga is down, and we have a timeout called. So just like that, a halt of action. It's 3rd and 5 on the 40 A big conversion coming up for ODU right around midfield. 16-10. Hokies will be back in a moment on 3304 Sports.
Hey, sports fans, be sure to check out 3304 Sports on social media so you don't miss any of our awesome content. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at 3304 Sports. From pre- and post-game stand-ups to links for articles and studio shows, the 3304 Sports social media team has you covered. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
This year, 3304 Sports is attacking the 2023 football season with a brand new goal. Our mission is to cover all 12 Virginia Tech football games and an eventual bowl game to close the season. But we need your help. Please consider donating to our GoFundMe page, where your contributions will go towards covering travel costs for our student journalists this football season. From hotels to transportation, every little bit helps. Head to our social media pages and click the link to donate today.
This fall, 3304 Sports has partnered up with Tech Sideline. Established in 1996, Tech Sideline is the premier media outlet covering all things Virginia Tech athletics. Many of our 3304 Sports broadcasters intern with TSL and produce student-led content, such as Triumph Spotlight, TSL Today, social media exclusives, and the Tech Sideline podcast. Tech Sideline, all Hokie, all the time.
3304 Sports has established itself as one of the elite student sports journalism outlets in the industry. Home to All-American broadcasters and award-winning writers, 3304 Sports is the spot for student coverage of Virginia Tech athletics. From live play-by-play broadcasting to beat writing, feature articles, studio shows, and more. Every touchdown, every buzzer beater, every win, we're there. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
You're tuned into college football on 3304 Sports. Let's get back to the action.
Back to Lane Stadium on 3304 Sports. Fuga was down. We await a word on him as the Hokies linebacker exits the field, but we're back to action. On the 40-yard line, 3rd and 5. Opening drive of the second half, 16-10 Hokies lead. ODU with the ball. Wilson is in the shotgun as the line judge, Troy Riley, blows the whistle, and we're ready for action. Alone in the backfield is Wilson. And the Fordham Ram steps up behind the center, and now there's a halt of action as Wilson peers back at the line judge for a word. And now he steps back in the shotgun. Trips to the right, twins to the left. And the snap, showing blitz, VT, pressure right behind the line of scrimmage. Dashing out to the left side is Wilson. He has space. Toward the 50, he slides. And a big first down conversion on 3rd and 5.
Yeah, again, he's just showing his ability to run, right? And I got to say, Kyle, Grant Wilson, he's got some speedy legs, but probably one of the slower quarterbacks Tech will play all year.
Shotgun snap, stacks to both sides. He rolls back in the pocket. Now threads the needle to the left. Shovel pass, it's caught up the middle, tumbling forward just near the line of scrimmage and making the play. How about that from Marquez Bell, his first reception of the afternoon.
Quick little burst there by Marquez Bell. Forward momentum. That's a really creative play by Grant Wilson.
All right, Obi Sinai at the left hip in the backfield of Wilson. Twins to the left, a single receiver to the right. The lone receiver, Jordan Bly, matched up with Mansour Delane out wide. Now he steps up under center, audible with the line. Showing blitz are the Hokies. Drops back, shotgun snap, handoff. And dashing toward the middle and diving forward is Kadarius Calloway, who steps in. Jaden Keller slams him to the turf. First down on the Hokies 39 in the shotgun again. Calloway getting his first touches of the ball game, still standing at the left hip of Wilson in the backfield. Stacks on both sides.
Kind of surprised to see Calloway in the ball game right now, the way that Wicks was running the ball in half one.
Bunch formation up front, showing pressure are the Hokies. Wilson with a much slower tempo. And now the shotgun snap. Leather meets hands, hand off to Calloway, dashes to the left, threads the needle. The ball pops loose and it's soaked up and stolen away. Whistle on the play, but it looked like Jalen Stroman might have ended up on top of the ball. Will they call it back?
It's Nazir Peoples, Kyle, wearing 25. Got the honor this week to wear the number 25. And Nazir Peoples falls on top of it. Really, Callaway just kind of let it slip out of his hands.
So the safety's showing pressure right there, almost in that nickel set. And with the ball popping loose, just a yard past the line of scrimmage, they soaked up on it. And now another man down for ODU. It'll be 1st and 10 on the Hokies 31. And if you look at the play, Callaway had space, broke free, and the ball got popped loose. And it was Peoples who ended up on top of the ball. Looked like it might have been either Anton Powell-Ryland or Kelly Lawson who applied the pressure initially to pop that ball loose.
Injured Monarch is helped off the field. Looks like it's number 58. Stephen DeBose-Bourne, redshirt sophomore. He's assisted to the sideline.
And now if you're ODU, it's almost like you just punted the ball away after a 3-and-out. So how do you reset with the Hokies offense getting the ball sooner than expected?
Gotta strap up the helmet and get ready to go hit somebody once again. Virginia Tech, 16-10 lead. This game is still incredibly in reach. God, we kind of talked about it. How a key to the game if you're ODU is just keeping this thing close, right? Part of that is limiting the turnovers. If you're Tech, you got to take advantage of this golden opportunity.
In last year's loss to ODU, Virginia Tech turned the ball over 5 times. 4 of them were interceptions. We've seen no interceptions tonight, so Wells is clearly seeing the ball and throwing the ball a lot better tonight, as the secondary really hasn't been tested all too much.
No, the secondary for either team hasn't been tested all that much. Both quarterbacks just kind of struggling a little bit. It's been almost an anticlimactic type of ball game, low scoring. You don't even really want to say defensive, just kind of sloppy football a little bit as well. Nevertheless, you get to see the Tech offense out in action, see what kind of adjustments Tyler Bowen and company made.
After the first quarter, it was a safety that opened the scoring for Virginia Tech's favor after a long snapper, Brock Walters, sent the ball over the head of his punter, Ethan Dewaney, for ODU. And then the second quarter was a lot more eventful. You had Jalen Lane starting the scoring. Then Dutton responded on the other side for ODU. Jennings got his first touchdown in a Hokies uniform against his old squad. And then ODU responded with a field goal right at the buzzer. So that's how we end up at 16-10. It's 12-18 and the clock stopped here in the third quarter. Hokies with their first drive of offense in the second half. On the 31. It's going to be twins to the left side. Gosnell, the one widest. On the far side, it's Dwayne Lofton right on the 3 of the 30. And now the whistle blows. Wells in the shotgun. He's got Tootin to his left hip. Motion from Gosnell, the tight end. To the left side, now it's 3 wide. Motion into the backfield again. Snap, throw out to the flat. It's caught by Tootin. Dashing past the 30. Barreling forward, he's slammed down right at the 36. Catching the fleet-footed running back is Ashton Whitner there. 2nd and 5. Twins to the left with Gosnell on the line. One out wide to the right, it's Gosnell, the other brother. Shotgun snap, rolling back in the pocket, throws to the left side, it's caught by Felton, he breaks a tackle and he's free down the left sideline and pushed out of play at the 25. Big gain for the Hokies, Terry Jones with a touchdown-saving tackle.
Heck of a play by the Hokies. Quan Felton, he's a big boy at 6'5". The transfer from Norfolk State able to break a tackle and make a play.
They're going to push him back to the 30, say his foot touched the paint down the sideline. 1st and 10. And the snap. Wells hands off to Tootin. He's going to tuck it up to the left side and get a gain of 6, maybe 7 as he barrels forward. A pile of white jerseys with Jason Henderson, guess who, carrying him down alongside the safety, Terry Jones.
Just power running for Virginia Tech, Tootin. Big burst up the middle.
2nd and 2. 2 receivers wide right, 1 wide left. Motion from the tight end, Gosnell. At the right hit is Tootin. Snap, carry, then fake. Throw out to the left side, and with space is Jennings. Dashes forward, and he gets barreled over by 2 jerseys. Ends up right at the 12. It's a first down. Wayne Matthews with a big stop there.
Second time they've gone to Ollie Jennings, the first time in the first half. First time they went to him and he made a catch, it was a touchdown. Now Ollie Jennings working his way back into the offense.
Triplets of receivers to the left, at the right, hip is Tootin in the backfield. Gosnell, the younger brother, in motion out to the right. And the snap. Hand off to Tootin. He's going to dash to the right side and will barrel forward. End up right around the 6, chipping away are the Hokies. Wayne Matthews with another big stop. Jason Henderson helping out. 1st and 10. Make it 2nd and 4, pardon me. 10-18 and running as the Hokies slow down the tempo here. 1 wide left, 2 wide right with Gosnell the widest, and the tight end Gosnell moving in motion at the left hip is Tootin. Shotgun snap, handoff to Tootin. No, it's a QB keep in the flat. Jennings has it, dashes forward, dives, touchdown Tech. Jennings with his 2nd touchdown in a Hokies uniform. Add another 6 on the board for Virginia Tech on their first drive of the second half.
How about that? Ollie Jennings against his former team puts Tech on the scoreboard once again. First score of the second half. Jennings pick it up right where he left off. Played at West Virginia, went to ODU, was their leading receiver in 2 consecutive seasons, and now is looked at as the guy in 2023 for Virginia Tech.
John Love strides back for the PAT. How about Jennings, huh? Snap, kick, it's through. 23-10 Hokies, and that is a great way to start the second half if you're Virginia Tech.
Yeah, can't ask to write it up much better than that. Virginia Tech just goes all the way down the field, able to put points on the board, 23-10, and kind of maybe asserting some dominance here with a strong start to the second half.
All right, with that touchdown, it's going to send us to a break as we take a breather. Hokies score 23-10, 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. ODU will have the ball in a moment on 3304 Sports.
Hey, sports fans, be sure to check out 3304 Sports on social media so you don't miss any of our awesome content. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at 3304 Sports. From pre- and post-game stand-ups to links for articles and studio shows, the 3304 Sports social media team has you covered. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
The 2023 Virginia Tech football season is loaded with exciting matchups every weekend on 3304 Sports. Non-conference opponents like Purdue, Rutgers, and Marshall won't disappoint. In ACC play, the Hokies host Pitt, Wake Forest, NC State, and Syracuse, while taking road trips to Florida State, Louisville, Boston College, and Virginia. Week in and week out, we'll have all the play-by-play action right here on 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
3304 Sports has established itself as one of the elite student sports journalism outlets in the industry. Home to All-American broadcasters and award-winning writers, 3304 Sports is the spot for student coverage of Virginia Tech athletics. From live play-by-play broadcasting to beat writing, feature articles, studio shows, and more. Every touchdown, every buzzer beater, every win, we're there. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
Do you love pregame shows like College Game Day, Sunday NFL Countdown, and Big Noon Kickoff? Boy, do we have the show for you. Tune into the 3304 Kickoff Show every Friday afternoon on the 3304 Sports YouTube channel. We talk all things Virginia Tech Hokies football all the time. Feature stories, panelist discussions, opponent analysis, and so much more. The 3304 Sports Kickoff Show, your pregame destination for college football, week in and week out.
You're tuned into college football on 3304 Sports. Let's get back to the action.
How about the Hokies on their first drive of the second half? Finding Ollie Jennings for his 2nd touchdown. So we come back with 9:59 on the clock in the third quarter. Virginia Tech leads the visiting Old Dominion Monarchs 23-10. On 3304 Sports, Kyle Marchak, Giovanni Heater, and the boot is about to be underway as Kyle Lowe steps back in the backfield, ready to receive Lamarian James and Amari Granger. He strides up and lets it fly. Line drive spiral nearly through the uprights. Another touchback. Gio, how about that first drive? They had been waiting to get that wide receiving room working, and apparently Ollie Jennings has been that missing piece.
Yeah, Virginia Tech looked really, really good on that drive. No doubt about that, Kyle. Now they take a 23-10 lead. Ollie Jennings, 2 touchdowns tonight. Incredible.
It took a quarter for Jennings to come around, but now we focus on the offense of Old Dominion. Right on the 25. Grant Wilson, the biggest stadium he's ever played in. Sending 5 are the Hokies. Shotgun snap. Stacks to both sides. Here it is. Handoff. No, it's a fake. Throw up the middle. It's booted by the D-line, and it will roll out of play. Well, it looked like it was a wide reception on the tip right there, but the chains will not move, pardon me. Dante Levitt getting his hands on that one. All right, a gain of 5 on the play. Quickly in a hurry up. Shotgun snap. Rolling back in the pocket, pressure coming. He's going to thread through the middle. He is tripped up for a gain of 2 as Wilson tries to find space. Derek Canteen just getting a claw on that right cleat of his, and now we have a timeout again. Or perhaps someone's down on the field.
Yeah, it's all the way back in the backfield.
Yeah, it is
for Virginia Tech. Looks like it's
Jalen Jones. Jones, a junior out of Richmond, Virginia. 10 games played last year in a secondary that was very effective, but not necessarily very deep. But that's a guy you would like to keep out there. So another injury timeout. We've seen a little bit too much of that in this ball game tonight. So both teams will have a moment to take a breath. And the whistles will blow again. 3rd and 3 on the 32 as Old Dominion has a quick halt to a rhythm they're trying to find offensively after giving the ball away in their first drive. It was a fumble from the running back, Kadarius Callaway, in that first drive. Now they're on the 32. Bunch formation showing pressure are the Hokies. In the shotgun is Wilson with 2 wide on both sides. At the right hip in the backfield is Keyshawn Wicks, who was the star of the show. Couple of claps. Now rolling up with some vocalization to his O-line. He'll step back. And the snap into the hands of Wilson. Finds space to the right side. Dashing forward, he'll tuck it and slide for the first down.
Norrell Pollard was trying to chase him down, dove at his ankles, couldn't quite get there. Will Johnson kind of forced him to the ground as he slid right in front of 53 in maroon.
Running game's been big. Quickly, stacks on both sides. At the right hip is Wicks in the shotgun. Snap, tucks it, QB keeper. Dashing to the right side, finds space, and will end up for a gain of 3 as he's brought down by Mose Phillips.
You know, we were told Mose Phillips is a hard hitter. He went in there, laid the boom on the quarterback a little bit there.
All right, still a set of white jerseys in the backfield with Wicks at his right hip, and now he'll switch out to the left as Wilson gets some words from the sideline. Twins wide on both sides, pressure from the corners. But a linebacker's press too, and the snap. Hands off to Wicks. He's going to keep it and run out to the right side. He has Green past the 50, 45, 40, dashing into the inside, 45. What a run. How about Wilson on the ground with Caleb Woodson getting a big stop. And some hustle and bustle after the play, a flag out in the air.
I think they might try and look at targeting on Woodson. He hit the quarterback pretty good. Wilson took a lick from Woodson. And we'll see. Yeah.
And they're going to put the headset on.
I figure they might take a look at that. You could hear the hit.
So let's talk about targeting today, Gio. We had a guy ejected pretty early into the ball game for ODU. Amori Morrison, who was one of their best DNs, thrown out for targeting early on. And then Jason Henderson got checked, stayed in the game. That would have been a huge loss for ODU, but then it went on the other way too. Leaving the game on a targeting earlier was another defensive presence for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Jalen Stroman was kicked out of the ball game earlier, and yeah, there's no targeting here. That's not even close. He hit him really with his shoulder at his belly. It's not even close. I think this one will come back. we'll see the consensus.
Yeah, Wilson took an awkward tumble.
Yep.
And
you can hear the Lane Stadium crowd, no targeting.
Speaks for itself. A lot of checks on targeting tonight. Do you think that's by intention?
I mean, that's just kind of the new era of college football. I thought Henderson was going to get kicked out of the ball game. Honestly, all three up to that point that were checked were worth checking. I mean, we saw 2 ejections.
Yeah, that one not really sure what they're looking at there. All right, we reset. 1st and 10 on the 36, 7:52 and running in the third quarter, 23-10 Hokies lead. ODU's quarterback Wilson looking to reset in the shotgun. Wicks behind his right hip. Now he switches to the left, twins on both sides. Sending 4 of the Hokies. 1 safety in the backfield for Virginia Tech. Couple of claps, here's the snap. Hand off to Wicks, he's gonna tuck it and run. Now it's Wilson dashing forward. Nothing doing, a gain of 1. And it looks like a helmet flew off too. Mario Kendricks was the one soaking him up there. And Wilson, oh no, you don't like to see this. Wilson comes up without a helmet and appears to have to exit the field, and he will. So it's going to be Jack Shields stepping in. You talk about inexperience. Well, Grant Wilson, this is his first big game in a big stadium. Now it's Jack Shields, the redshirt sophomore out of Centerville, Virginia. He's got Wicks at his right hip in the backfield. Stacks on both sides. Showing blitz of the Hokies. Now to the left hip is Wicks. Shields steps up in the pocket. He'll step right back. And the snap. It's going to be an option. No, Wicks takes it. Runs to the right side, and no motion for him as he stays up and gets pushed away in the backfield. Whistles blow. And once again, Kendricks and Powell Ryland getting the stop.
Feldarius Payne helped out as well. You see big number 0 didn't play in the first half. Now in the action in the second half here in Lane Stadium. The transfer from Nebraska, his first taste after being injured all last year.
Trips to the left, 1 to the right. Now whistles blow pre-snap. No flag in the air. And the last play is going to be under review. Are you telling me targeting is on the docket again?
I think it might be here, Marchak. And let's see.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yep, for
Wicks
targeting.
Has
looking
been,
at it again.
He's been a magnet for contact tonight. I mean, there's no doubting that. He's been acting as a power back until they found him in the flats. But that is interesting. Yeah, Feldarius Payne.
That'll be targeting there, I think. Feldarius Payne goes with the crown of his helmet, it appears, and yeah, you just got to be smarter than that. It wasn't a big hit by any means, but he still led with the crown of his helmet and went helmet to helmet with him.
And that's scary.
Rule, that's targeting.
I mean, you see it on the previous play. The helmet pops off of Wilson. The play before that got checked for targeting, and Wilson, I hate to say it, struggled to get up without some support and kind of haphazardly jogged off the field before Jack Shields comes out. So let's talk about Jack Shields, redshirt sophomore from Centerville, Virginia. This is his 3rd year, but this is his first time getting snaps at the NCAA level.
It's crazy.
I mean, talk about inexperience in your actual quarterback of the offense.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you got 2 very inexperienced quarterbacks, and really staying pesky and staying in this football game, though. As they continue to look at this targeting. You know, it's one of those where there's no disputing there was helmet to helmet with the crown of the helmet. The question is, did he hit him hard enough, I guess. Wow.
Feldarius Payne is out of the ball game. Now he is 3rd deep at tackle. They still have 4 guys that they use at that position consistently. So it's not the biggest knock, but it does speak about a level of discipline that's been questioned a lot last year.
Yeah, and Feldarius Payne, too, is going to have to sit out the first half of next week as well.
Yeah, early into the second half, but in the second half regardless. All right, stepping up is Xavier Black, the center, and he puts the ball right down on the 20. In the red zone are the Monarchs. Trips to the left and 1 receiver to the right. Looking to the left side is Grant Wilson, who's back out in the shotgun. Wicks at his left hip and the snap. Fakes the handoff, throws in the flat left side. It's caught. They're thinking about throwing it. Instead, Granger's going to tuck it and try and run. He's getting soaked up, rolls out to the right side. He finds space, dashing toward the 20, 15, 10, 10, 5, and he's pushed out of play. Man, they were thinking about a trick play. Instead, they go all the way horizontal and get the first down.
Had to run a long, long wait for that, and almost found the end zone as well. You know, just kind of turning something into nothing there.
First and goal. In the shotgun, Twins to the right. Twins to the left as well. A lot of space. Wide out is Granger. Rolling back in the pocket. Here's a snap. Throw to the right side. It is caught. Touchdown. Keyshawn Wicks out of the backfield, and the Monarchs respond in their second drive of the second half.
Shaq, we got ourselves a ball game here with 5:43 left to go in the third quarter. Keyshawn Wicks has been a problem all day long. It's just a simple wheel route. They go and check it down to the tailback. Everybody's worried about over the middle into the corners of the end zone. Instead, it's a simple check down. He finds Wicks, and he finds 6.
Keyshawn Wicks, 13 touches on the ground. His first reception of the afternoon, and it's a touchdown.
9-play, 75-yard drive for the Monarchs.
Sanchez with the boot. It's in. That makes it a 23-17 game. So right back to where the Hokies really started coming into the half. How do they respond here?
Got to find more offensive firepower. Old Dominion's not going away quietly, that's for sure. And a very inexperienced and really, for lack of a better term, ill-talented Monarchs offense is doing what they want with the Hokies really tonight.
So it's 23-17, 5:43 on the clock in the third quarter. It's been back and forth early on. Virginia Tech looks to reset. Going out to boot it. It's the kickoff guy, Ethan Sanchez. And this is a part of the game that we haven't seen all too much, are the special teams receiving unit. So the kick receivers, Bashal Tootin, Malachi Thomas, Dwayne Lofton. You know, a guy that we haven't seen all too much because of the state of the offenses is Tucker Holloway. But regardless, Sanchez taking his angle. Whistle blows. Hand is up for Sanchez. The white cleats of Sanchez meets the brown leather of the football. He drops it to the left side, a little doink right before the pylon, and out of play, flag in the air. Good starting position for Virginia Tech. Or perhaps they pinned him. First and 10, and yeah, they will put them on the 35. Gio, we saw the air really help them control that first drive, which was a pleasant sight if you're a Hokies fan.
Yeah, got to find ways to keep working the football around. Would love to see the tailbacks get moving a little bit more. Tootin's been solid. Malachi Thomas into the ball game at tailback.
Thomas at the left hip of Wells, ball on the 35. First and 10 to open their second drive of the second half. In motion is Gosnell, the tight end. Trips to the left, one to the right. Snap. Low at the knees, he picks it up, hands off to Thomas. Spins around, finds space, spins around again, and now he's slammed down to the ground. Nice stop by Saeed Stevens and company alongside Terry Jones to find a fleet-footed Malachi Thomas. It's a gain of 3. Scratch that 1. It's going to be 2nd and 9. Nice line of scrimmage effort from Thomas, who remains at the right hip of Wells. Twins to the right, one to the left. Now Gosnell moves to the left. It's Twins on both sides. And the snap. Motion out to Thomas. They're going to throw it to him in the flat. He has space, a screen. Rolling out and pushed down right at the 40. Gain of 3. Jason Henderson with the stop.
Just feels like Henderson's in on every single play, right? A guy that literally led the country in tackles a year ago. He's everywhere.
3rd and 5, ball on the 40. Big conversion here. Trips to the left, and Jennings alone on the right side. Wells, audible with Thomas at his right hip. And the snap. Rolls back in the pocket, scans right, lets it fly. Jennings is the target, and he's got it down the right sideline, takes a tumble, and he's pushed out of play right at the 15. Jennings said, "Give me the football." Lamarian James just got mossed again.
Big play down the field. We were told Ollie Jennings had big play ability. That was a dot, an absolute dime from Grant Wells.
1st and 10 on the 16 now. Steven Gosnell wide left, twins to the right, and the snap. Thomas has got it, and he's soaked up well behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of 2. Jason Henderson blitzing there.
Jason Henderson just got back there in a hurry. E.J. Green finished it off with him. Boy, powerful push up front.
2nd and 12 on the 18. Hokies in the red zone and a switch out of the D-line for ODU. Coming out is Ashton Whitner and company. In the shotgun with just one receiver wide left, make it 2. And the snap, rolling back out. Thomas out wide. Now throw up the middle, it's caught! And diving forward at the 5, a nice play from Daquan Wright making the catch. And they're going to give him a first down too. Terry Jones with another big stop to the big framed tight end. On the 5 are the Hokies. 1st and goal, 3:14 and running in the 3rd. Hokies up by a possession. In the shotgun. Double motion to the left with Wright and Gosnell, double tight end. And the snap, handoff to Thomas. He's going to dash to the right, piles forward and lands right at the 2. Jason Henderson grabs him and throws him to the turf. Lamarian James with support. Hokies knocking on the doorstep of a huge conversion here. Double tight end formation to the left. Gosnell and company out wide. No one to the right, and the snap. Fake handoff, it's an option. Spinning around Wells at the 1. A pile of jerseys, and it looks like it's a soft gain. 2.5 and running. 23-17 Hokies. Ryan Ramey getting the stop there. Bunch formation. In the backfield is Thomas. Under center. Diving forward, and flags in the air. Will they give him the touchdown? The cannon blows, but we await a call, and they will give him the touchdown. As of right now, the Hokies just punched in another 6 points with 2 minutes to go in the 3rd.
It's a defensive penalty, and obviously Virginia Tech elects to decline. 1-yard quarterback sneak for a touchdown. Grant Wells pushes up the middle.
Touchdown Tech on the QB keep. Make it 29-17 with 2:09 to go in the 3rd. A jumble of bodies and confusion on that play. But the Hokies get just their third down conversion of the afternoon.
Exactly what you needed if you're Virginia Tech, to go back down the field, put a touchdown on the board yourself. Kyle, 29. Virginia Tech has now tied their total high in points in a ball game a year ago. A PAT here would put them at 30, would be the first time in over a year they score 30 points.
Looking for a 3-0 for the first time in over 18 months. Snap is down, kick is up, it's through the uprights, and the Hokies have 30 on the board. 30-17 with 2:09 on the clock in the 3rd quarter. How about that, Gio?
Great drive. Absolutely fantastic drive if you're Virginia Tech. Grant Wells throws a dot to Ollie Jennings on a go route. Jennings just able to cook the defensive back in Lamarian James. Perfect throw. Jennings able to streak down the sideline. Touchdown saving tackle by Lamarian James, but from then on, Tech just continued the forward momentum. Wells was able to find Daquan Wright for a strike over the middle to get a first down on a big 3rd down conversion. And then they find 6 on 3rd down and goal.
Amari Granger and Lamarian James lined up for the kickoff of Kyle Lowe, who's been electing to do the touchback pretty much the whole way. Back and forth in the 3rd quarter. Hokies up 13. They eclipse the 30-point mark for the first time in almost 2 years. The sky falls to a pitch black in Blacksburg, but still a sea of maroon in Lane Stadium with 65,000 strong. The ball is set up and it's kicked into the air. A high arcing tumbler to the right side. That one will doink for a touchback.
You know, it's such an underrated part of football, touchbacks, right? And Kyle Lowe has been strong with that all year long.
Grand Wells will get to reset and take a break, but coming in on a positive note. He got married May 13th to his beautiful wife. He talked about that at Tech Talk Live last week. You know what? ODU has been kind of in that Hokie mood too, to prepare for the environment at Virginia Tech. Their practices have been filled through the air of Enter Sandman. Now they start on the 25, their third drive of offense in the third quarter. In the shotgun is Wilson. Hands off to Tootin. He'll dash to the left side of space, 30-35, and he's stripped down. The ball might have popped loose, and we'll see who landed on it. It looked like it stayed with the white jerseys of ODU. Perhaps it switched sides.
I think there's a chance
and they're going to point it the other way.
Ball.
Gary Patterson will point it the other way, and the Hokies have possession, their second fumble recovery of the quarter.
This place is going crazy. Derek Canteen losing his mind down there, Marchak, and he got a hand on that football. The defense celebrating. You love to see it. Chris Marv's defense just came away with a massive takeaway. And let's see who gets a hand on this football. Yeah, it looked like it was
Josh
Nazir
Fuga,
Peoples,
who fell on it. Nazir Peoples, the one to punch it loose.
Yeah.
How about that? So just like that, the Hokies have 10 yards to work with as they start 1st and 10 on the 37 in ODU's territory. Motion to the left as Gosnell trips to the right, one to the left in the shotgun. Here's the snap, rolls back in the pocket, scans right. He's looking to the left, he's going to air it out off the hand of Jalen Lane, incomplete.
Yeah, that's a throw that Wells has to complete. You got to get that to Lane. Lane, one of his smaller targets, a slot guy at 5'10", but can really do it all. He had him open. Got to connect there. Overthrow by Wells.
2nd and 10. Wells has already met his overall total from the first half in yards in the air. He had 109. He's got 110 in the second half so far. In the shotgun with twins on both sides. The older Gosnell moves into the tight end formation. Snap is low. He picks it up. Pressure to the right. He's going to evade it. Rolling out. He'll let it fly down the sideline. It's up in the air and over the head of Ollie Jennings. Incomplete again.
Boy, that almost was a crazy play. Would have been one of the biggest plays we've seen in the last 18 months. That might have been a highlight bigger than anything we saw a year ago in 2022. Really nice job by Wells to evade the pressure and had a one-on-one ball, just kind of overthrew Quan Felton.
Trips to the left, one to the right. At the right hip in the backfield is Bashal Tootin to the Hokies' centerpiece, Grant Wells. Only sending 3, it appears, is ODU. Press on both sides for the corners, and the snap. He's going to drop back in the pocket, looks to the left side. He's going to let it fly real high toward the left pylon. Contact, the throw is well overhead, but you bet it's pass interference. Flag in the air, and the cornerback, Taj Rael, cannot believe it as Jalen Lane was the intended target, but Jalen Lane's jersey got untucked.
Yeah, I mean, he grabbed Jalen Lane and pulled him to the ground. There's no disputing that. Pass interference all day long.
So they give him a fresh set of downs as they move up 10. 1st and 10 on the 22. Back-to-back plays where Wells is looking to air it out.
And good things happen when you throw the football deep sometimes. You might not always get a completion, but pass interference, definitely a factor. Jalen Lane kind of had him beat, and to try and recover, tug of the jersey by Rael, easy flag.
Knocking on the door of the red zone are the Hokies. Grant Wells with his hands on his hips. It's 15 and running on the play clock. With 1:32, the clock is stopped at in the third quarter. Hokies lead it by 13. It's 30-17. One is wide left. It's Jennings. 2 wide to the other side. At the left tip is Bashal Tootin. And the snap. He leathers it. Hands off to Tootin. He dashes forward and creases his way up for a gain of 5.
Tootin just hit a wall in the middle. Able to gain a couple. E.J. Green and Terry Jones gave him a tattoo, though, after the gain of 5.
Chipping away are the Hokies. 2nd and 5. Ball on the 17. 1:10 and running on the clock in the third quarter. Hokies with a multi-possession lead. Gosnell and Jennings wide to the right. Twins to the left. At the left hip is Tootin. On the 17, here's the second down snap. Motion to the left and the handoff. Tootin has it again, and he threads the needle toward the line of gain, and they'll give it to him. 1st down, a gain of 6.
How we'll see. I think they might have marked him about a half a yard short here. He's right at that line, and they do. Third down and inches.
We saw them bring the chains out for that Louisville-Georgia Tech game yesterday. They're not going to do it here, though. 2nd and 1 and a quick snap. Once again, Tootin up the middle. Did he get it? It's close.
Might have been stopped right at that line once again, which would bring up 4th down.
Real close. They've tried on 4th down twice. Both were 2-yard plays. This one would be 4th and inches. Maybe they do bring the chains out here. You have the line judge, Alex Amaya, on the leather right now. And it does say 4th and 1. 2 seconds, 1 second, and that will tick the clock away. End of the third quarter. 30-17 Hokies. We'll see what they bring out as we return to football on 3304 Sports with a fresh 15 on the clock in a moment.
This fall, 3304 Sports has partnered up with Tech Sideline. Established in 1996, Tech Sideline is the premier media outlet covering all things Virginia Tech athletics. Many of our 3304 Sports broadcasters intern with TSL and produce student-led content, such as Triumph Spotlight, TSL Today, social media exclusives, and the Tech Sideline podcast. Tech Sideline, all Hokie, all the time.
The 2023 Virginia Tech football season is loaded with exciting matchups every weekend on 3304 Sports. Non-conference opponents like Purdue, Rutgers, and Marshall won't disappoint. In ACC play, the Hokies host Pitt, Wake Forest, NC State, and Syracuse, while taking road trips to Florida State, Louisville, Boston College, and Virginia. Week in and week out, we'll have all the play-by-play action right here on 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
Do you love pregame shows like College Game Day, Sunday NFL Countdown, and Big Noon Kickoff? Boy, do we have the show for you. Tune into the 3304 Kickoff Show every Friday afternoon on the 3304 Sports YouTube channel. We talk all things Virginia Tech Hokies football all the time. Feature stories, panelist discussions, opponent analysis, and so much more. The 3304 Sports Kickoff Show, your pregame destination for college football, week in and week out.
This year, 3304 Sports is attacking the 2023 football season with a brand new goal. Our mission is to cover all 12 Virginia Tech football games and an eventual bowl game to close the season. But we need your help. Please consider donating to our GoFundMe page, where your contributions will go towards covering travel costs for our student journalists this football season. From hotels to transportation, every little bit helps. Head to our social media pages and click the link to donate today.
You're tuned into college football on 3304 Sports. Let's get back to the action.
Kyle Marchak, Giovanni Heater coming at you on the 3304 airwaves. We enter the final quarter of action for the home opener and the season opener of the 23-24 campaign for Hokies football and the Old Dominion Monarchs visiting here in Lane Stadium. Gio, it's a 30-17 ball game, but the Hokies quickly knocking on the doorstep of the red zone after their second forced fumble and recovery after that third quarter.
Yeah, this defense has, stepped up a little bit here for Virginia Tech, putting the ball on the deck. But the offense has really been what's impressive in half number 2 so far. The offense is producing for the Hokies, looking much improved compared to the first half, and that's really all you can ask for.
Dwayne Lofton and Quan Felton wide out left as Wells and company set up for the Hokies offense. Again, knocking on the door. 13-yard line, 4th and 1. Their third try at a 4th down conversion. The snap. And they're going to tuck it and run, diving forward onto a pile of maroon jerseys. We'll see if they give them the conversion as Wells tried to get it past the line of gain. Ball is placed. Alex Amaya, the line judge, is there. And it looks like they might bring the chains out. Now you have a pile of zebras around the placement of the ball here. and they are going to bring the chains out as they have the line judge set up.
I mean, right there it looks short. If that's where they're going to spot it,
it's definitely short. Now the line of scrimmage was the 12-yard line. The nose of the ball is placed, let's say, 8 inches away. So now you see, through a sea of white jerseys, the line judges bring out the orange cones. So we'll see what the chain tells us. Ball don't lie, they say.
Yeah, he's short. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He's going to be short, I believe. Yeah.
And he'll
by
fall
about a yard.
About a yard short. And Ronnie and company pretty happy about that stop. So for the third time today, the Hokies unsuccessful on a 4th down conversion try. And deep into their own territory will be the Old Dominion Monarchs with possession. They're down 30-17, just seconds into the 4th quarter of action. How does Old Dominion respond here?
Got to put a drive together, right? Got to find a way to march down the field here.
Whistle blows. After a little bit of a break, it's Grant Wilson and company in the shotgun. Wicks at his right hip in the backfield. Twin sets to the right in a stack with one receiver open, two to the left, and the snap. Rolls back, looks to the right, sees pressure, and the ball pops loose, soaking it up, but a white jersey falls on top of it. Josh Fuga and Antoine Powell-Ryland pop in the pigskin loose, but thank God it was Santana Saunders that fell on top of the football. So OJU keeps it.
Antoine Powell-Ryland just absolutely crushes the quarterback from behind.
Sending 4 are the Hokies. Same formation with twins on both sides. At the right hip is Wicks. Stepping up to the O-line is Wilson calling the audible. He's standing on the 4-yard line. The ball is on the 9. 2nd and 14, here's the snap. Finds space up the middle, and he is shoveling the ball to the left side. A completion is made, and it looks like they had a gain of 3. Keyshawn Wicks took the ball up the middle, and that QB keep or play action fooled me. Antoine Powell-Ryland with the stop. Make it 3rd and 9 on 14. They got to air it out here. Trips to the right, one to the left. Wicks at his right hip. Here's a clap, and now an audible from Wilson. Even late into this ball game, the crowd hasn't thinned a bit. 65,000 strong in lane. Now a stack to the left side. Wilson resets, couple of claps, the kick, and the snap. He's going to drop back, 3-step drop, spins it to the left. The throw is over the head of the intended receiver. Couldn't find Marquez Bell, and it ends up out of play. 4th and 9, and here comes the punting unit. How about that? They get possession deep into their own territory. A huge stop on 4th down just moments ago, and the offense failed them.
Yeah, it's just really good pressure, a good push by the defensive front for Virginia Tech. Applying pressure to the young quarterback and Grant Wilson, giving him really no time. And then the coverage down the field on that one in particular, Mansour Delane, all over the intended receiver.
Duaney lets it fly. And overran, here's a little booter to the right side. Bayshul Tootin has it for the Hokies. Dashes up the middle, he finds space to the 50 at the 45, and he's thrown down. Nice play from Amari Granger, who came out to sweep him up at his feet. And the Hokies will have the ball at midfield.
Nice little return. We've seen a couple of flashes from Bayshul Tootin early on.
Bayshul Tootin has been a big addition on offense. So the whistle blows. 2.5 minutes until we come back to action, but 13-11 to go in the 4th. 30-17 Hokies will have the ball right on the 50 to start as we come back on 3304 Sports.
This year, 3304 Sports is attacking the 2023 football season with a brand new goal. Our mission is to cover all 12 Virginia Tech football games and an eventual bowl game to close the season. But we need your help. Please consider donating to our GoFundMe page, where your contributions will go towards covering travel costs for our student journalists this football season. From hotels to transportation, every little bit helps. Head to our social media pages and click the link to donate today.
Be sure to check out The Beat after tonight's ball game. Head over to the 3304 Sports website for in-depth written coverage of every snap. Our writers and editors work tirelessly to produce written content covering all things Virginia Tech athletics. Feature stories, game recaps, and so much more. All things, all sports, all the time. This is 3304 Sports.
3304 Sports has established itself as one of the elite student sports journalism outlets in the industry. Home to All-American broadcasters and award-winning writers, 3304 Sports is the spot for student coverage of Virginia Tech athletics. From live play-by-play broadcasting to beat writing, feature articles, studio shows, and more. Every touchdown, every buzzer beater, every win, we're there. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
Hey sports fans, be sure to check out 3304 Sports on social media so you don't miss any of our awesome content. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at 3304 Sports. From pre- and post-game stand-ups to links for articles and studio shows, the 3304 Sports social media team has you covered. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
You're tuned into college football on 3304 Sports. Let's get back to the action.
30-17, Hokies lead it in home territory at Lane Stadium. Kyle Marchak, Giovanni Heater, back to action quickly. Hokies start on the 50. Motion to the left, Grant Wells in the shotgun. And he'll hand it off to Thomas, who dashes up the middle, threads through the left side of the O-line, and crashes in for a gain of 4. And the Hokies have been using the ground game a lot, Gio.
Yeah, they've been doing a nice job of doing it as well. Malachi Thomas and Baye Schultz, too. And we have not seen anybody else besides those two run the football. Curious to see if we'll see Chance Black at all as the game develops.
12:50 and running. Hokies with a 13-point lead in the 4th. In the shotgun is Wells again. One ride right. And Gosnell and company trips to the left. In motion is Thomas. Snap, rolling back in the pocket, throws up the middle. Gosnell's got it with space, dashes to the inside, misses the defender, and rolls down at the ACC logo. A catch for 20 on the gain. He ends up right around the 20. One of the biggest receptions of the night, and the first one at that for the tight end unit of that size. 1st and 10, 12-18 in running. Hokies knocking on the doorstep of the red zone. Bunch formation with trips to the left. Motion is Gosnell, the tight end. Thomas at his left hip, and the snap. Play action fake. No, they hand it off to Thomas. Nothing doing. He'll end up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Looked like it was Denzel Lowry soaking him up. .11:50 and running. 2nd and 9. They'll give him a yard. Ball in the 22. Twins on both sides. And now a break of action as Wells and company peers to the right sideline for the play. Audible to the O-line. Thomas at his left hip in the backfield. Sending 5 are the Monarchs. Shotgun snap. Play action fake. He's going to tuck it and run. Wells dashing to the 20, 15, 10. He dives and lands just shy of the 10. Nice play from Wells on the ground. And a first down. Sean Asbury is the one finding him right around the line of gain. Now the Hokies, 1st and 10, the ball on the 12. One wide left, still at his left hip is Thomas in the backfield. Twins to the right side. Now in motion is Lofton, and the snap. They're going to give it off to Thomas, and he's soaked up right at the line of scrimmage. Trying to get a tackle for loss there. It was Wayne Matthews getting the stop. Switch of personnel, 10:42 on the clock. It's 25 and running on the play clock right now. 10.5 in the 4th. 30-17 Hokies. Tootin on the backfield now at his right hip. Motion to the right with Twins to the left in the shotgun as Wells. Claps, leathers it. The throw is low, but he has it. Rolls out to the right side, evades pressure. Tosses it off. It's caught and soaked up for a gain of 3. Looked like it was Stephen Gosnell with a reception this time. And Wayne Matthews getting another stop. Ollie Jennings with the reception.
Just situation here again, Kyle. Virginia Tech methodically moving the football down the field. Another 3rd down. They've been pretty decent on 3rd down tonight, particularly in the second half. Can they find another conversion here?
Jennings alone to the right, trips to the left. At the right hip is Tootin, and now motion. And Daquan Wright moves into tight end position.
Tech 8 for 13 on 3rd down.
And the snap. Rolling back in the pocket, sees space, evades pressure, lets it up the middle. It's over the hands of Ali Jennings. Applying pressure there in the backfield was Terry Jones.
Just some early miscues, Kyle, really. Grant Wells has thrown a couple of nice balls, but a handful of times where he missed his guy. That should be 6 every time. Beautiful route by Ali Jennings. He was wide open. You got to get him the football there. And just some early miscues in game number 1 of a long season for Grant Wells.
This will be about a 23-yarder. John Love. The snap is up. The kick is up. It's through the uprights. And the Hokies couldn't convert on 3rd. And on the 4th and 8, they put it through. It's 33-17. Another nice drive by the Hokies. You wish the reception for Jennings, the synchrony between his quarterback, would be there. But nonetheless, the Hokies make it a 3-possession game.
Yeah, you just kind of feel like you left points on the board there. You're allowing Old Dominion to stay in this thing. 33-17, 9:28 left to go. You know, defense got to step up. Just kind of felt like a touchdown could have put things a little more out of reach. You would have felt a little bit better if you're Virginia Tech, and instead Wells misses a wide open Ali Jennings in the end zone.
Will Wilson and Wicks have a response to try and find 6? Stick around on 3304 Sports.
This year, 3304 Sports is attacking the 2023 football season with a brand new goal. Our mission is to cover all 12 Virginia Tech football games and an eventual bowl game to close the season. But we need your help. Please consider donating to our GoFundMe page, where your contributions will go towards covering travel costs for our student journalists this football season. From hotels to transportation, every little bit helps. Head to our social media pages and click the link to donate today.
Be sure to check out The Beat after tonight's ball game. Head over to the 3304 Sports website for in-depth written coverage of every snap. Our writers and editors work tirelessly to produce written content covering all things Virginia Tech athletics. Feature stories, game recaps, and so much more. All things, all sports, all the time. This is 3304 Sports.
3304 Sports has established itself as one of the elite student sports journalism outlets in the industry. Home to All-American broadcasters and award-winning writers, 3304 Sports is the spot for student coverage of Virginia Tech athletics. From live play-by-play broadcasting to beat writing, feature articles, studio shows, and more. Every touchdown, every buzzer beater, every win, we're there. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
Hey sports fans, be sure to check out 3304 Sports on social media so you don't miss any of our awesome content. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at 3304 Sports. From pre- and post-game stand-ups to links for articles and studio shows, the 3304 Sports social media team has you covered. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
You're tuned into college football on 3304 Sports. Let's get back to the action.
Back to the New River Valley. It's a 33-17 lead for the Hokies with the Old Dominion Monarchs in town. Field goal for the Hokies with 9.5 to go in the fourth quarter. Here's a kickoff from low. Received in the backfield. Granger has it. He's going to try and thread right up the middle, and he's soaked up for a loss. And he ends up at the 14. Tough start for Old Dominion as they have their 5th offensive drive of the second half.
Yeah, no doubt. Old Dominion kind of backs against the wall here. 9:23 left to go. Got to find some offensive momentum if you're the Monarchs here, Kyle. Tech had an opportunity to kind of put this thing out of reach. Wells missed Ali Jennings in the end zone. Crazy. It would have been his 3rd touchdown.
Second field goal of the afternoon for Virginia Tech. 3 touchdowns. They have 250 yards in the air now. ODU on the other hand. Wilson's only got 76 in the air. At his right hip is Wicks, who's been the spark plug of the offense. Now at his left hip. Twins to both sides. The ball's on the 14. And the shotgun snap. Here it is. Throws out to the right in the flat. It's caught. And dashing out to the right side. Brought down for a gain of 3. Looked like it was Dominic Dutton making the reception out wide. 9 and running. Mansour Delane with the stop there. 2nd and 5, ball placed on the 21. In the shotgun again, Twins on both sides once more. At the right hip is Wicks in the backfield. Crowd bustling as the Hokies have them deep in their own territory. And the snap. Play action fake. He's going to try and thread up the middle of the pocket, evading pressure to the right side. Now dashing to the left at the ACC logo, 30 to 35. Dives forward and will get plenty more of the first down as he lands right around the 37.
He's quick, Marchak. He's kind of been like a water bug out there today, and it seems to never really look pretty when he falls, but nevertheless protecting himself.
Here's the hurry up. Rolls back in the pocket, lets it fly over the middle. It is picked off! In the air with the ball is Jalen Jones. Dashing to the right side, he has space. Down the sideline, it's Dorian Strong who's pushed out of play. How about Strong up the middle?
Just high points of football on an overthrow. Grant Wilson was trying to dump it over the middle and overthrows his target. And waiting is the mitts of Dorian Strong. Great athleticism on the return as well. Was looking for his big target in Javon Harvey and sailed it too high.
Completely overthrew him. And Dorian Strong, get this, his father is a competitive weightlifter. Talk about a good name. Talk about athleticism in your genes. And, well, used his strength to speed down that right sideline. The Hokies, with their 3rd forced turnover of the afternoon on defense, they have possession on the 9. 1st and goal.
A little bit of a chance to step on the throats of the Monarchs here.
And the snap. Play action fake. Now they're going to hand it off to Tootin. He dashes up the middle, a gain of 3.
Grabs a handful here, gets to the 5. Henderson able to halt him like he's done all night long, but Bashal Tootin's putting together a solid game here for Tech.
They place the ball on the 5. One receiver wide out left right now. They're going to make it to Dwayne Lofton and Quan Felton. Tootin's been a spark plug in the backfield for Virginia Tech. Wells in the shotgun. Gosnell in the backfield as well. No one wide out right. Wells with the audible rolls up under center. Now he steps back in the pocket. And they get a jump, it looks like, wide out left. Maybe it's offsides for the offense.
Ooh, they called delay a game. Regardless, there was a jump as well, Kyle. You're right. You're absolutely right. It looked like DeJuan Lofton jumped and then an offensive lineman jumped as well. That cadence, just everybody was a little bit off on the communication there.
Pushes them back 5. It's going to be 1st and goal, 2nd and goal on the 10. 2 wide out right. Lofton and Jennings. Single tight end formation with Gosnell to the right side. At the right hip in the backfield is Tootin with 1 wide out left, and the snap. Tootin's got it, dashes to the right. Through the middle of the O-line, they find space, but he can only gain 3.
That's got to bring up 3rd down and long here. I mean, 3rd and goal essentially. 8 yards out.
6:50 and running in the 4th quarter. 33-17 Hokies.
You'd really like to get the ball in the end zone here and not kind of stall out again. End this game offensively with an exclamation point.
Trips to the left. Jennings alone on the right. In the backfield is Tootin to his left hip. Now he moves Tootin to the right side. And the snap. Picks it up. Looks to the right side, evades pressure, spins away to the left. Now he's up the middle, diving toward the goal line. He slides in. Where did the ball end up? Might have popped loose, and they're going to say he's down at the 2.
Boy, Grant Wells just tripped up. He had a touchdown there, Kyle. Incredible job to evade. I mean, Old Dominion went all-out blitz there. He was even hit by a blitzing linebacker coming up the middle for the Monarchs, and Sean Asbury kind of barrel rolled around him and was just tripped up shy of what would have been a touchdown on the ground for Grant Wells. Instead, the field goal unit's out 4 yards out.
Here is John Love. He's been excellent tonight. This will be a 20-yarder. Snap is down, kick is up, Leathers through the uprights. Back-to-back field goals in the red zone for Virginia Tech. Hey, they'll take the score, but you'd like to see him try and find the end zone, right?
Yeah, another just kind of empty possession in a way. Like, obviously it's not empty. You put up 3, but where you got the ball. If you're Virginia Tech, you definitely would have liked to have seen them put it in the end zone. That's back-to-back possessions where you just kind of stall out in the red zone and are unable to put points on the board.
36-17, 5:38 on the clock as it stops in the fourth quarter. A couple of drives to go for a Hokies W, it looks to see, here in Lane Stadium. You're listening to Virginia Tech football on 3304 Sports.
This fall, 3304 Sports has partnered up with Tech Sideline. Established in 1996, Tech Sideline is the premier media outlet covering all things Virginia Tech athletics. Many of our 3304 Sports broadcasters intern with TSL and produce student-led content, such as Triumph Spotlight, TSL Today, social media exclusives, and the Tech Sideline podcast. Tech Sideline, all Hokie, all the time.
The 2023 Virginia Tech football season is loaded with exciting matchups every weekend on 3304 Sports. Non-conference opponents like Purdue, Rutgers, and Marshall won't disappoint. In ACC play, the Hokies host Pitt, Wake Forest, NC State, and Syracuse, while taking road trips to Florida State, Louisville, Boston College, and Virginia. Week in and week out, we'll have all the play-by-play action right here on 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
Do you love pregame shows like College Game Day, Sunday NFL Countdown, and Big Noon Kickoff? Boy, do we have the show for you. Tune into the 3304 Kickoff Show every Friday afternoon on the 3304 Sports YouTube channel. We talk all things Virginia Tech Hokies football all the time. Feature stories, panelist discussions, opponent analysis, and so much more. The 3304 Sports Kickoff Show, your pregame destination for college football, week in and week out.
This year, 3304 Sports is attacking the 2023 football season with a brand new goal. Our mission is to cover all 12 Virginia Tech football games and an eventual bowl game to close the season. But we need your help. Please consider donating to our GoFundMe page, where your contributions will go towards covering travel costs for our student journalists this football season. From hotels to transportation, every little bit helps. Head to our social media pages and click the link to donate today.
You're tuned into college football on 3304 Sports. Let's get back to the action.
Kickoff unit is out after another field goal for Virginia Tech. They lead Old Dominion in Blacksburg 36-17. Kyle Lowe lets it fly as he leathers it up the middle of the field, right at the line of scrimmage. And Amari Granger for Old Dominion and Company will watch a touchback. We'll start right on the 25. On 3304 Sports, Kyle Marchak alongside Giovanni Heater. How about the Hokies in the fourth quarter so far? They've tallied 6 points via the field goal, but that third quarter is what really propelled them forward.
Yeah, the third quarter was really good for Virginia Tech offensively. You saw the last couple of drives stall out just a little bit. Would have liked to have seen them have a little bit more momentum offensively. Nevertheless, 36 points when you didn't score more than 29 a year ago, you're going to take that.
Grant Wilson, first game in a crowd of this like. Right now, just 81 yards to his credit. In the shotgun with Wicks to his left hip, twins on both sides the snap. Play action fake, he's going to tuck it and run up the middle, breaks free, dives forward, gain of 6.
That's one thing Tech has struggled to stop all day. The design quarterback run has been there on that option for Old Dominion, and running the football really, really well is Grant Wilson, I must say.
Mario Kendricks on the stop there. 2nd and 4 on the 31. Here's the snap. Rolls out to the right, evades pressure. He's going to tuck it and run, and he's slammed down in the backfield. Mario Kendricks with another tackle. It's for a loss as it moves to 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Kendricks gets home. Big man for Virginia Tech up front, the Kissimmee, Florida native.
Twins wide to both sides. At the right hip of Wilson is Wicks, who's led the way on offense. 99 yards of gain. In the shotgun is Wilson. Sending just 3 are the Hokies. 4:40 on the clock. Here's the snap. Hands off. He'll let the running back Wicks take it. He runs up the middle. Nothing doing. He gets a gain of about 2 as he's slammed down by guess who? Mario Kendricks. And that'll send it to 4th and 2. And they're going to stay out there. Why not? Stacks on both sides, and the quick snap, rolling back in the pocket, finding space to the right is Wilson. He's going to let it fly down the sideline, picked up in the air. It's going to fumble down to the turf, nearly getting the reception and stealing it away was Dorian Strong for his second pick. Instead, it finds the bluegrass, and it's a turnover on downs deep into ODU territory.
Yeah, Dorian Strong and Nazir Peoples both had a chance at that football. Instead, it falls to the turf, but it is a turnover on downs. Wonder if we'll see Kyron Drones here.
A lot of talks about that 2-quarterback set. We've seen 3 snaps to Drone's credit so far as we get a timeout on the field. 4:15 on the clock, 36-17. Hokies with a 19-point advantage in home territory. We'll be back in a moment. It's the Hokies and the Monarchs on 3304 Sports.
Hey, sports fans, be sure to check out 3304 Sports on social media so you don't miss any of our awesome content. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at 3304 Sports. From pre- and post-game stand-ups to links for articles and studio shows, the 3304 Sports social media team has you covered. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
The 2023 Virginia Tech football season is loaded with exciting matchups every weekend on 3304 Sports. Non-conference opponents like Purdue, Rutgers, and Marshall won't disappoint. In ACC play, the Hokies host Pitt, Wake Forest, NC State, and Syracuse, while taking road trips to Florida State, Louisville, Boston College, and Virginia. Week in and week out, we'll have all the play-by-play action right here on 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
3304 Sports has established itself as one of the elite student sports journalism outlets in the industry. Home to All-American broadcasters and award-winning writers, 3304 Sports is the spot for student coverage of Virginia Tech athletics. From live play-by-play broadcasting to beat writing, feature articles, studio shows, and more. Every touchdown, every buzzer beater, every win, we're there. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.
Do you love pregame shows like College Game Day, Sunday NFL Countdown, and Big Noon Kickoff? Boy, do we have the show for you. Tune into the 3304 Kickoff Show every Friday afternoon on the 3304 Sports YouTube channel. We talk all things Virginia Tech Hokies football all the time. Feature stories, panelist discussions, opponent analysis, and so much more. The 3304 Sports Kickoff Show, your pregame destination for college football, week in and week out.
You're tuned into college football on 3304 Sports. Let's get back to the action.
Hokies Monarchs in the season opener. Virginia Tech 36, Monarchs 17, 4:15 in the fourth. Hokies with another forced turnover on downs. Grant Wells and company will start on the 35. Here's the shotgun snap. He's going to roll out to the right. Has a receiver open. Instead, he's going to tuck it and take his time. No pressure coming. He'll go at the line of scrimmage. He's pushed out of play. Just like that. One down out of the way. No gain. And on defense, pushing him to the sideline was Jason Henderson and E.J. Green. Wells took a second to get going in the air. He's 17 of 28 tonight, Gio.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of slow going, especially in the first half for Virginia Tech, and ended up kind of getting into a groove later on in the second quarter, especially in the third quarter. They're keeping him out there.
At the left tip in the backfield is Thomas. Wells with one wide on each side. Power formation. Showing blitz are the Monarchs. Here's the snap. Has space to the right. He's going to let it fly out wide. Quan Felton, the intended target. It's pushed over his head and out of play.
I think Quan actually got away with a little bit of offensive pass interference. He kind of put his hands on the chest of a very much so shorter, defensive back in Sean Asbury II, 5'9" against 6'5", and Asbury kept up with him. Felt in kind of a little bit of a push-off, but I think they kind of just ruled that uncatchable for both parties.
Third down, 9 yards to go on the 33. Hokies 2 of 5 on third down conversions tonight. Twins to the left at the left tip in the backfield, and the shotgun is Thomas. Gosnell wide out right. He's in motion from right to left on your radio dial. Now sets up at the right side, and the snap. Play action fake. No, they're going to give it off to Thomas. He spins around at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of 1.
I guess you're playing it conservative on third down and long when you have this kind of lead, but I don't understand the play call there to run the ball on third and long.
Yeah, not your normal play call. It pushes it to 4th and 9. So you'd imagine it's either the field goal unit or they try and pin him deep here. You think Love's got the leg for that, though. And now we have the refs chatting over the mic. 3:16 on the clock, 36-17. The ball's on the 33, so it's a 43-yard field goal. That's about 10 yards shy of Love's long in his career, so they'll send him out. But right now, a timeout on the field. So ODU soaks up their timeout, Gio. What's the plan in terms of trying to get back into this game with only 3 minutes of action left?
You know, unfortunately for ODU, one thing they've done so well tonight is run the football, right? 206 rushing yards compared to Virginia Tech's 106. Well, you have 3:18 on the clock. It's not really an option to run the football right now. Got to try and find success through the air in crunch time here if you're the Monarchs.
And they are going to try and punt it. Would have been about a 50-yarder. Instead, they send Peter Moore out there.
Yeah, maybe they think they can kind of pin him deep.
Back
See
to
what
receive.
the captain's got.
Marion Granger is the punt receiver. Here's the snap, the boot, high arcing right toward the 1 at the dash line. It's going to roll out the back of the end zone, a touchback.
You know, the coverage was there for Tech. They had Jalen Jones back there, and Jones just couldn't quite read it. Jones was back there ready if he could have caught the ball or stood in front of it, and instead it goes out of the back of the end zone. Not a bad punt by Peter Moore. And they'll take it at the 20 instead.
I mean, that's got to be one of the shorter punts Peter Moore's tried. I mean, for him, he's picking that ball up right around the 45. So it's 3 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock in the fourth quarter. Hokies lead the visiting Old Dominion Monarchs by 19. 1st and 10, the ball is on the 20. Grant Wilson has motion to the left. Here's the snap and the shotgun. Evades pressure to the right. Now he's soaked up right at the line of scrimmage. Josh Fuga and company finding the white jersey in the backfield.
Yeah, another big play for Virginia Tech up front. C.J. McCray got dirty as well. Good to see him in the ball game. Now some rest defensively for Tech.
Hurry up shotgun snap with 5 wide. Now rolling back in the pocket. Soaked up and slammed down for a loss. How about Wilfred Penne finding that white jersey down to the turf?
You know, another guy that's kind of a starter last year, both C.J. McCray and Wilfred Penne, now kind of buried with some new talent on the defensive front with Antoine Powell-Ryland. Back-to-back big plays.
3rd and 15, ball on the 15, and the snap. Rolls back in the pocket, lets it fly. He's going to tuck it and run up the middle. Marion Granger with the small reception, and he is pushed down just shy of the line of gain.
Bring up 4th and short. Obviously, you'd have to think they're going to go for it here. Jaden McDonald and Jordan McDonald, both McDonald twins in the ball game, help team up for that tackle. And the punting unit is out.
Switch out the units here. 4th and 2, they're not going to bother. Interesting. Ethan Duaney will step out as the special teams units will come up.
Tucker Holloway.
And Tucker Holloway, who we know likes to receive those punts, will stand at the opposite 30. Snap is up, and so is the boot off of Duaney. High arcing spiral right into the hands of number 11. He tucks it, grabs it, dashes to the left side. He has space at the 40. Now past midfield to the 50. He has one defender to beat. Dashes to the inside, back to the pylon. Holloway with space all the way to the 5. Are you kidding me?
Took one for a touchdown a year ago against Georgia Tech. Set a record in program history for the most punt return yards in a game. Didn't have a chance until right now tonight, and says, give me the football. I'm going to be your punt returner in 2023. Big play for Tucker Holloway. He almost went all the way.
Why do you put Bashal Tootin back there when you have a guy who has a program record 188 special teams yards versus Georgia Tech a year ago? Man, that kid is special.
Wonders, I'm curious. I was surprised Grant came out for the last drive. Curious to see, and they do put Grant out there at quarterback. Was thinking maybe they'd give Kyron some reps here. Instead, it's Grant Wells. And we'll see how vanilla they keep it. Bryce Duke in there at tailback as well with the pistol set.
First and goal on the 9. Gosnell moving in motion. Bryce Duke in the backfield, and he'll hand it off to Duke, who pushes forward and barrels for a gain of 3. Soaked up by a pile of white jerseys, Denzel Lowry getting the tackle. 1 minute and 3 seconds as the clock runs away. 36-17, Hokies. Second and goal. They're on the 5 now, knocking on the doorstep of tucking this game in their back pocket.
I mean, Kyle, it would look a little more handsome if Tech put another one on the board here. I don't know that they'll do that. Looks like they're going to knee it out.
Victory formation. Thomas is out on the field to support. 38 on the clock, 8 on the play clock. We await the snap. And there it is. Grant Wells takes the knee, and the Hokies start the season 1-0. How about that?
Benji Gosnell just did a backflip on the field.
It wasn't pretty, but it's a win. And the Hokies have a different version of a Monarch beating tonight.
1-0, a W in the win column for Virginia Tech. And you see the two head coaches, Ricky Ronnie and Brent Pry, who have so much love for each other. Were on the same staff under James Franklin at Penn State. Tech got their revenge here tonight after losing in Norfolk a year ago.
Purdue, Rutgers, some Big Ten competition coming up. And in the age of big-name conference competition, Gio, how important are those wins for Virginia Tech?
I mean, you got 2 Power 5 opponents coming up. One's coming to Lane Stadium, a noon kickoff next week against the Purdue Boilermakers. That's going to be a tough game, no doubt about it. Then you got to go on the road and play Rutgers up in Piscataway, New Jersey. It gets a little easier up there, but traveling distances like that is never easy. So, it's a tough schedule in front for the Hokies, but tonight's a win, things to build off of, and it's a W in front of a home crowd. Important thing is you're 1-0.
All right. That will wrap things up for Giovanni Heater and all of those who support us for 3304 Sports. I'm Kyle Marchak, saying so long high above Lane Stadium. It's the Hokies 36, the Monarchs 17. Virginia Tech 1-0, the Monarchs 0-1. Thank you guys for tuning in. You're listening to College Sports on 3304 Sports.
This has been a presentation of college football on 3304 Sports. Be sure to follow us on social media to catch the post-game coverage. 3304 Sports, your home for collegiate sports coverage.